Welcome to Swish and Flick, an all-Potter podcast.
Swish and flick. Everyone? Swish and flick.
Hello, and welcome to episode 51 of Swish and Flick. I'm Sarah.
I'm Megan.
And I'm Katie.
We are, again, fortunate enough to have our good friend, Sir Ezra the Watchful, whose words are, I spy with my little eye. We are glad to have you back on this podcast, are we, though? He's helping us out while Tiffany, we give Tiffany a break because she just had a baby and stuff so she can be with her family. So thank you again for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
Are you sure that you're happy to be here?
Honestly, all of the stuff that just transpired in the last 40 minutes has made me reconsider what I'm doing down in this basement with Swish and Flick.
He's never coming back.
I'll share some of those secrets later, though, with everyone. But yeah, I'm glad to be back.
Awesome. So this episode is sponsored by Evie Madden, so a big thank you to you.
Thank you.
And today we will be discussing Chapter 9 of Prisoner of Azkaban, Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban, to be exact. Grim Defeat.
The Grin.
So make sure you have read the chapter and you are ready to dive into the pool of details. And are we asking Ezra questions before we get to our social media needs? That wasn't real words.
Whatever you want. I don't even know if I can respond because of all the flavors and textures that have hit my mouth before we started this episode. But yeah.
What questions were we going to ask?
I don't know. It's written in red.
I didn't write that.
I didn't write that.
Oh, maybe Tiffany did.
It's her.
I don't think you shared it with her.
Tiffany,
so I
what
don't.
questions do you
Wait,
want
who
us to
wrote
ask?
that?
I have no idea.
Know.
Ezra! I can't do it. Started Megan, but I can't do Ezra.
Ezra!
I can't do
this
it.
is what I'm going to ask in this just one thing of Ezra. Please do a Florence impression for all to listen to right now.
A Florence and what?
Yeah.
I need stuff to like read.
Read the. We are fortunate enough to have our good friend Ezra.
Okay. Where's that at? Oh, there we go. We're fortunate again to have a friend, Sir Ezra the Watchful, whose words are, I spy with my little eye. Right? Is that
So bad!
Is that the worst? Is that the worst Florence?
Does anybody,
But it's also the best.
does anybody else think that he sounds a little bit more like Billy Madison than Florence? Because that's
Yes.
the vibe I'm getting.
This is not my forte, doing the voices. All right, that's Lane and, Florence and you guys and goodness.
We are again fortunate.
Whoa.
Can you do a Florence impression,
I'm
Megan?
so bad at it.
Just
Hold
try.
on.
I want you to read the same sentence.
No, those are hard words.
We are again fortunate enough to have our good friend Ezra the Watchful.
Pretty good. Pretty good.
We are again fortunate enough to have our good friend Sir Ezra the Watchful.
You sound very southern.
Yes.
That just sounds like fried green tomatoes right there. Like
Yes.
you're right out of the movie or something.
Do you want Florence to do it?
Yeah.
Well, right. We are again fortunate enough to have a good friend Ezra, Sir Ezra the Watchful, whose words are, I spy with my little eye.
I like how she says Ezra.
We are
Wow.
again fortunate enough to have our good friend Sir Ezra the Watchful, whose words are, I spy with my little eye.
That's good.
That's
That was
pretty
good.
Guys, you think I'd be better at it because I just spent like the last 2 hours listening to a recap of all Harry Potter up to this point, but from Florence.
God.
But yeah, I don't know.
That might be some bonus content coming at you.
Well, right. Megan, do you want to talk about some needs of the social medias? Because I certainly need some.
Yes. So, guys, I'm gonna change this up a little bit today. I'm gonna wing it. So, firstly, our main point of contact is our website. So you can head on over to swishflickcast.com, check out all of the information on Swish and Flick compiled into one place with all of our merchandise. There's a link to subscribe to us on iTunes. You can go to Patreon. You can go to our vlog. You can go to our vlog. You can go to the YouTube. Our Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram are all linked there. Facebook, we're Swish and Flick Podcast. And on Twitter and Instagram, we are at Swish Flick Cast. And it also links to, it links to our Patreon. So Patreon is patreon.com/SwishFlickCast. You can choose your support level. You have access to our Felix Files episodes. bi-monthly bonus episodes. You can be a guest on the Felix Files, have a live video chat with us monthly on Zoom. We do monthly giveaways and more.
Sounds like you guys are doing a lot there.
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
We are very busy people.
You
we're
are.
very committed to giving
You
our
are.
fans everything that we promise them. If we promise them a weekly podcast,
Wow.
they're going to get it.
Wow.
We're dedicated.
Wow.
We're very dedicated.
Sounds like you're slamming another podcast that I know.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Is MySpace coming soon? Can I
Yes.
run MySpace, or is that...
Search for us soon on MySpace.
Okay, cool.
We're
Maybe.
coming. Okay,
MySpace is coming.
Can we all take classic MySpace pictures to upload of ourselves, like the up in the air?
Yes. Oy.
What's
All right.
next?
What's next?
Yeah.
Is,
On to the
what is it?
Sneakly Profit, right? What's it called?
Weekly Profit.
Weekly
Sneakily prop.
There it is.
So for Weekly Profit, I usually do something for our U.S. fans for the most part. So I thought, we have a pretty big listener base in the U.K. Am I right?
Shout out.
Yeah.
So there's...
Am I right or am I right?
You're right. So I figured I would do some news over there for them. Does anybody live near or in Essex? Because Harry Potter, yes.
The only way is Essex. You're welcome.
Harry Potter-inspired afternoon tea parties are launching in Essex. It's like a little slice of Hogwarts. That's what it says in the article.
That's cute.
So, Wands at the Ready, one of the most magical afternoon teas around, has just appeared. Harry Potter fans, young and old, can enjoy the experience, which is filled with props, activities, and, of course, a spread of delicious food, all organized by Peanut Butter and Jelly Events Company. The afternoon teas are set in and around one of their specialist bell tents and long trestle tables, which are decorated with Harry Potter-style props.
It looks
That's
cute.
cool.
It does look really cute.
I mean, I guess I could click on the
You're
link.
like outside. It's like you're outside and you're like sitting on the floor with little cushions
Yeah.
at these little short tables. It's really cute. So, it says here the bell tent can be used as a chill out area or as a place to play Harry Potter games such as create your own wand or broomstick or design your own wand on a central circular table. There will
That's
even
really
be
cool.
Harry Potter themed tunes and other related tracks playing while you enjoy your food. This is, I just want to find where exactly it's
Oh my
taking
god, this looks
place.
so cool.
That's
Most
catering.
of the catering is provided by Amy Barrett from the Party Kitchen. And let's see, where is more details? Peanut Butter and Jelly Events was founded in January of this year. The company started out creating children's activities dens at weddings to keep them busy during
Ooh.
long meals and speeches.
That's awesome.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
Wow.
What a niche.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool.
Like a good one.
Yeah.
As well as the new Harry Potter-inspired event, the children's parties and afternoon teas can also be themed for dinosaurs, fairies, pirates, and other themes on request.
Yes.
Dinosaurs.
It's
Let's see if there's,
awesome.
if this is going to be a permanent setup somewhere. Okay, so basically you hire for this. Like, you have to hire them.
So they can set up anywhere,
Yes.
probably?
The Harry Potter-inspired afternoon tea package is £160 for the bell tent hire and all furnishings, plus £20 per person for the food.
Worth it.
And then if you're like really far away from where they start, there could be extra fuel charges. But
For real, though, if I was a
lived
child,
over
not even a
there.
child, I'd want this to be my birthday party.
I would
Yeah.
have hired them for our wedding.
Yeah.
That would have been awesome to have a little
Yeah.
Harry Potter inspired corner for the kids to like be occupied.
For the kids.
I mean,
for me.
Yeah.
That could have been
yeah,
like
I
a cool.
will-
That could have been a cool rehearsal dinner.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That would've
been-
Yeah.
Or even bridal shower.
I'll post the link to this so anybody who lives over in that area, if you want to hire them to do a party of some sort, you can.
If someone throws one of these parties while we're over there,
You
we'll
better
totally
invite
go.
us. That's all I'm saying.
Wow, this is pretty neat. This actually kind of inspires me to take our, was it Puff Pastries International?
Yeah.
I guess
yeah.
to do something like that.
We should cater
You,
it.
if you think about it, you have taken it international from start because you made a French dessert.
This is true.
Holy smokes, you're right.
Yeah.
True.
All right.
Yep.
True.
True story.
Good
If
motivation.
anybody wants to know what puff pastry is, head on over to our YouTube channel where you can see the first episode featuring Katie and Ezra.
And then tell us what you want them to make.
Yeah.
It needs to be semi-difficult.
They started with creme brulee, which is a pretty difficult dessert, but they did it well. So
We
Yeah.
got it.
we're very
yeah.
proud.
nailed
We
it.
killed it.
Yeah.
No, but they really did. Like they're not even being
Yeah.
like joking.
Go ahead
It
and
was
say it.
it was
And to
it
have-
was good.
To have Sarah and Meg say that makes me pretty proud of us.
No, it was
Yeah.
That's why we need to go international.
Katie, now I can request creme brulee at any time, and you can make it for me.
Okay, but I need Ezra to be there with
I'll
me
come
because
over. I'll come over. You know?
no, but totally, I'm not scared anymore.
And I have a torch to burn that sugar.
I have a torch, just not for sugar.
Alrighty, that's my weekly profit. Onto the
Onto the recap. Don't even know how to do it, guys.
I wonder if people are gonna let us know. Do you like Tiffany's recap or Ezra's recap better?
I don't know that I would do that. I mean, did she just do this one day and it just kind of stuck?
Yeah.
Yes, I like them both for vastly different reasons. So, recap. Everyone has realized that Remus Lupin is a total amazing boss.
Yes.
Harry has to endure his first missed Hogsmeade trip, but that's okay because he gets to hang out with Uncle Mooney.
oh, that's so cute.
After the Halloween feast, the Gryffindors all head up back to the common room, but poor fat lady was almost slashed to smithereens by none other
Judging
than
him.
I was just staring annoyed at myself. Sirius Black.
Wow.
Black is the new black,
Yeah.
Black is back.
baby.
Jack.
Right.
There's a couple blacks in there. Do we ding for blacks?
Yeah.
Yeah. Apparently,
It's a stupid
There you
thing
go.
didn't work.
that's because you didn't do it right.
I don't have the magical touch, guys.
Apparently not.
Take this away from
He's
me.
the wrong kind of wizard.
Thank you.
Well, right. So there's a school sleepover in the Great Hall. They stayed up all night last night. Nope.
Yep.
They stayed up late swapping manly stories. And in the morning, they had waffles. Quidditch dramas all around us. Should Harry even play? Will Malfoy play? Or will the Hufflepuffs play? Who knows? Snape is lending his great teaching skills to defense against the dark arts. Oh, joy. And it's finally game day, and the Gryffindor team seems weighted down by water and trepidation, and poor Harry's world gets splintered into pieces.
Wow.
That was good.
Yeah.
Thank you, Florence.
Oh, you're welcome.
Oh my
Guys, this chair.
goodness. Yeah, these are real comfortable chairs.
Mine's pretty comfortable.
Just thanks. So we ready to dive into this?
Yes.
Ready to go? Okay. So I think my part's actually kind of the most. I don't think there's a lot to it, to be honest with you. The cool part's at the end of this chapter.
That's
So-
always typically how it works.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Oh, I
I
thought-
did not give myself the ends of the chapters. This is just how we always go. Tiffany, Megan, Katie, Sarah.
Okay. Well, anyways, so let's kind of. I'll try not to spend 2 hours on this first part, but so the prefects are standing guard, right? That's what happens here after the fat lady, takes her flight, and Dumbledore's super concerned, right? He sends everybody down to the Great Hall.
Yes.
How awesome would it be? Yes, Megan. Do you want to rub my back while you're back there? I mean, that would be fantastic.
Just getting a cushion
To
for my
be
tushy.
It went all the way down to a tush.
Oh, good lord.
Oh, that's much better.
The prefix, right, to stand guard. Mm-hmm. I think that's kind of neat, actually. Mm-hmm. Like, what would they have done? Like, what, were they just supposed to protect the kids?
Yeah, like it's
Yeah.
crazy that because he's like once an hour, a teacher would come by.
That's
Like
kind
think of how
I mean,
shenanigans could have
Imagine
gone
how cool
on.
that would be.
That's a
you know?
thing in some schools, though.
Yeah.
Like boarding schools and stuff. Like prefects and head boys and girls are a thing.
Yes.
And they are given a lot of responsibility. Like they're basically asked to be adults and protect. I mean, if something like this were to happen, they are the ones that are supposed to
Wow.
protect the kids while the teachers go and
Yeah,
do other things.
Do other things, yeah.
but there's what two? Hold on,
Two for each house.
Yeah.
So there's
like-
8 prefects and then 2 head people.
There's more. No, there's 2 for each grade. So there's 2.
No, there's not, because you're not.
Yes,
No,
once you
because-
become a prefect in your 5th year, there's still prefects. 7th,
Oh, you're
8th.
right.
You
You're
know
right.
what I'm saying?
Oh, okay.
So there's like
5th,
5th year.
6th, and 7th. So there's 6 prefects per house.
Correct. And there's 4
Wow,
houses.
really?
So do the
24.
math.
24
I didn't realize that.
plus
I didn't
2
either.
head people.
I'm head boy.
So 26.
I mean, that's a decent amount of
26?
protection around
Yeah.
this thing.
But
Now
last year I had 27.
I'm feeling pretty good about that. It sounds like Dumbledore's
that's a
army.
lot of protection.
You know? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's pretty neat. Yeah.
My question is, because you brought this up, do you think shenanigans legitimately were going on whilst little teachers were away?
Come on, you know there was. Think
A little
back
bit
to
of
your
schnogging.
13, 14-year-old self. You know, who...
I was good.
Get out of here.
Think
We were
about
all, well, no, those
We
were
were
dating
all
in high
goody
school,
two
but-
shoes.
say you're dating someone in a different house. Usually you never get to sleep
This is the
anywhere
time.
near
Oh, I
them because you
would've-
can't have
yeah.
you're not in the common room.
Snog
so
it up here.
This is a real sleepover.
Yeah, I guess.
I'm-
I just didn't do that.
We've had this discussion.
yeah.
I mean, here's my question: Is
Prefix bathroom.
this
They don't
is
need a, well,
yeah?
You could take a bath together.
In the giant pool.
Maybe somebody else has an invisibility cloak that they just have on them at all times. They're over in the corner, chilling out with their girlfriend, having a good time. You know?
gosh.
I don't know.
Invisibility cloaks are very rare, Ezra.
Well, yes, but you know, somebody could have had one. I don't know. You know. Anyways, I just think it's insane that he really trusts the head boy and the head girl this much, and the prefix to kind of protect the kids. It's radical to me.
Rad man.
Just radical. You know, old professor heads. You know, putting the kids in charge. So my big question, well, the big question is how do we think he got into the castle? That's what the teachers are kind of talking about, and they're searching the castle. How does he? You know, I mean, we know. We know that we know. Is that how he got in this first time? Is it every time that's, or is this the only time that he gets in? Does he get in more later on? Sorry.
Wait, how does Crookshanks help him in? Can't he just walk in himself?
Crookshanks knows how he gets in and out as an animal, and I think he shows him.
Yeah, but he knows all
Ways
the
to come
secret
through.
passages.
Yeah, but well, first of all, a lot of them are blocked now.
Yeah, but he had a lot of
And-
time on his hands.
True.
Pause.
But
Correct.
I think really the only direct passage into the school that is open would be Honeydukes, and he's like hanging out in the forest. So unless, I mean, theoretically he could have gone to the Whomping Willow, gone through over to the Shrieking Shack. But I think that it's really hard to get out of the Shrieking Shack, which was on purpose because they didn't want Remus to get out. So I don't even know if he could have gotten out of the Shrieking Shack to get over to Honeydukes.
But I bet you that he probably knows how to do that.
maybe.
But I don't know.
Oh, actually, I guess they would have to know how because Dumbledore and Madame Pomfrey would take Remus over to the Shrieking Shack, but then all of them would meet him in the forest. So there has to be a way that Remus was getting out, or they
came
were
back
getting
out.
Remus out.
They came back out the hole.
Oh.
But I bet you, like, they know. I mean, he's been around. How many years? When did he become an animagus? Right when he was like 15.
15.
So he had 2 years
True.
of however long the month. Not how long the months are, but he had a lot of experience getting in and out of the Shrieking Shack.
Or couldn't you just like leave Hogwarts and walk to Hogsmeade and then go through Honeydukes and through the passageway?
Sure.
Sounds cool. Sounds legit. Yeah.
How's a big dog gonna just walk into Honeydukes and walk down the cellar, though?
I don't know.
Well, I'm sure. Well, obviously he figured out a way. But I think that Crookshanks was just helping him get in and out based on
Maybe he also like stood watch too.
right.
You know.
I know we don't talk about this, but this is things I think about. So, like, when he becomes a man again, is he naked?
I don't think so.
I thought he was.
Like, because in the end, when Scabbers turns back into a rat, doesn't his clothes... Oh, no, not when he... But, like, when he turns into a rat...
He leaves his clothes behind.
But-
Yes,
That's
the bloody clothes. So, like, he's naked. So when he becomes a man, wouldn't you think he'd be naked?
Because I know that.
That can't be true though, because McGonagall transforms in front of the whole class. She doesn't come back naked.
True.
But,
I think him leaving his clothes behind is a movieism.
no, it's
no,
in the
that's
book.
in the book.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Yeah,
the-
bloody. It
blo-
says
mhm.
bloodstained clothes.
Mhm.
I
I
wonder
think-
if that is just a mistake.
Dear Joe.
Oh
Dear
boy.
Joe.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
Because that doesn't make sense. Why would he leave his clothes behind? But
In
right, you
love.
said
But maybe he
McGonagall.
did it on purpose.
Yeah, because
Oh,
he
sure.
Like,
really
is there a
wouldn't.
choice to be like, I want to be a nudist and, like, become an animal.
She-
No,
naked.
but he actually didn't like burst into smithereens. So maybe he already had bloody clothes on him, transformed, just left those on the
Oh, just
ground
left
with
them.
his finger.
But that still doesn't explain McGonagall. Oh no, it would explain
Yeah.
McGonagall because he has clothes in his hand.
Yeah.
He
And
Peter would think of that.
and when Sirius transforms back into a dog when they bring him chicken in the 4th book, he's not naked.
True. The only reason I'm thinking that he was, but I don't know, because I remember when this could be a movieism, but when he comes to King's Cross and they go into that room together, he transforms and then he's just like in a robe.
It looks like he's naked. You know what I mean? Like, it
He's
looks
like
he
putting
was,
the
yes,
robe on
yeah.
as Harry comes in.
I think that's
But
I think
that's
it's really
a
just
movieism.
theatrically
Right. They were
visual,
trying to
you know?
visualize it.
Yeah. My theory and headcanon is you do not become naked when you
See,
transform
that would
back.
be my theory in headcanon, that you are naked.
Well,
I always
that
thought
class got an eye full of McG.
They might like it.
I had always thought that they didn't.
Like, I know that, like, her spectacles, like, become markings on the cat.
Right.
So, like, maybe, like, what her cat looks like when she's wearing her
Changes
green
based on what
robe,
she's
she's
wearing.
a green tinge to her fur. And then when she's wearing, like, purple robe, she's got a purple tinge.
That would be
kinda
cool.
Yeah.
Thank you.
There you go.
You use the 2 good colors.
Yeah.
She
Okay.
wears green robes a lot. So.
Yeah.
I know. That's why I said it.
Okay, so but Dumbledore, does he? I mean, he says he has a lot of theories on how he got into the castle, but he says something like each is as unlikely as the next.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, so does he?
Well,
really,
because sorry, no. Let me let you finish your sentence.
no, just does he really know? You know,
He does not know that Remus is an animagus.
Remus
So,
is not an animagus.
I mean,
right? But Sirius.
that Sirius
Yeah.
is an animagus. So any theory that Dumbledore is going to come up with isn't going to include him being an animagus.
Well, we don't know. He might have one to, like, oh, he could
That's
be.
crazy.
But he's thinking it's crazy.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I see. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because, I mean, how else would he have escaped Azkaban? He never would have gotten out of Azkaban if he was not an animagus.
Yeah.
Ever.
Okay.
Even
Okay.
though the Dementors don't really see anything, that's how he describes it. He's like, the Dementors don't see, they just feel. So
And they can't feel animal emotions, right? Or not as well.
they can't feel them as well. But it was something like, you know, he was able to get out because of Barty Crouch coming to visit with his wife. And his wife was so sad. So the Dementors
Yeah, the feeling just kind
didn't
of.
feel her because she was so sad. So Remus was able to transform.
Sirius!
Sirius was able to transform into his animagus form and get
Yeah.
out by following them as a dog because it was like 2 people came, 2 people left.
Wasn't he also like so thin at that point when he transformed into a dog he could just slip through the bars? Mm-hmm. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
We jumped way ahead.
No, that's great. That's good stuff. So Ron and Hermione, once they, you know, well, let me see, am I skipping ahead here? Let's see. That's exactly what he wanted. That's the next day, isn't it? When they're talking in the. No.
No, it's that night they're talking.
Is that night that they're talking about?
Because they're listening. They're eavesdropping on the conversation of the adults.
Okay, I don't know where I got that from, but they at one point think it's lucky that Black chooses Halloween, right? They think they're good thing that he did because they're not all there, right? But that's intentional, right?
Yeah.
By Black.
Because he.
We know he's not looking for Harry.
Right, he doesn't care. I mean, obviously, I'm sure he wants to see Harry, but he is there to get Scabbers / Peter.
Ron's
so,
like-
thinking Ron will leave him behind, and then
Yeah.
he'll be able to search with nobody around, not make a ruckus that way. But then, of course, the whole fat lady thing happens.
Gotcha.
So it doesn't turn out the way he imagined.
Yeah. Ron says something like awful timing, bad timing on his part, but really,
Really,
That's
it was
exactly
it's
intentional.
what he wanted. Yeah. Okay. And then Hogwarts: The History is brought up. I always think it's hilarious when Hermione brings this up. Has anyone read this yet? You like,
I wish it was
I
like a
would
real
love
book.
to read
Yes.
it.
yeah.
Dear Joe, I would love to read Hogwarts: A History.
And The Life and Lies of Dumbledore. Okay, thanks. Bye.
Yes, thank you.
Because they're all theorizing on ways in which
Would have gotten in.
they can get in. Yeah. And
Yeah.
I can't remember her name, but she talks about him. Let's see, Hannah Abbott from Hufflepuff.
She marries Neville Longbottom.
Oh, really?
Yeah, she
Yep.
does.
Whoa!
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Doesn't she become the owner of Leaky Cauldron? Or Three
Uh-huh,
Broomsticks?
The Three Broomsticks.
I didn't know that.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
super cool.
She becomes the maiden, they say,
Yeah.
at the Three Broomsticks, and Neville is a teacher.
That's
professor.
cute.
And I
That's
think
cool.
they live
They
like
live in Hogsmeade.
Yeah.
Huh.
Fun fact.
one of the things she kind of speculated was that she was telling everybody in herbology class that Black could have turned into a flowering shrub. Which I thought
her theory is probably the
probably
closest.
pretty close. That's why I was like, what? I mean, that's actually, we're onto something there. But anyways, my question to you guys, Filch does he know or does he not know all the secret passageways?
He does not.
He does not.
He knows
thinks
about
he
4.
does.
Okay.
He thinks he does.
Right.
Fred and George tell Harry which ones he knows whenever they give him the Marauder's map.
This is
Gotcha.
when we find out about you can't apparate onto Hogwarts grounds. And then
Yes.
there was a big discussion with the newest trailer for Crimes of Grindelwald because it looks like, are they apparating into the grounds or where exactly are the
But-
anti-apparition?
Where's the boundary?
Yes.
But could you lower that boundary though? Like, is that?
But
something
we don't.
that's-
When was it set
Well,
up?
Dumbledore could lower it, I would think.
Yeah.
But not at that time. Dumbledore wasn't professor. I mean, he was
In Fantastic Beasts, right.
headmaster.
Yeah. Okay.
Who would
so,
that have been? Dippet?
Yeah, I think so.
Armando Dippet.
yeah. Anyways, they go over a couple different things. I thought something interesting is that Filch is going to restore the fat lady. Was going to go back to try to like put her back in her portrait or something. So I thought that was pretty interesting.
I feel like he doesn't have the skills to do that.
I would agree.
Yeah.
I thought it was kind of neat that there must be some
Like, do you
maybe
just
not
have
a
to-
magical
Yeah.
thing that
But
he
it could
can
be
do.
like
It
a
could be a magical
potion
or
maybe.
I was thinking a cream. Rub a
Yeah.
little cream on the canvas, just
Well, it could
put
be.
it
I
right
mean,
here.
like I'm sure you could make a solution and put it into something to be a sort of
Like,
cream.
They do need a solution for it. A
Like-
solution for this problem.
Yeah,
Like a
They-
magical puzzle glue.
kind of. Yeah, but it would actually.
They
mend
need the
it
Craggle.
together. I guess I could see him being the only one that would take the time to be so articulate that it was perfect. Because Filch has nothing else to do.
Okay.
really.
He would disagree.
Yeah, he's chasing down all these crazy kids out
He
after
makes
hours.
things up for himself to do.
Uh-huh. Neat part here, Dumbledore. So, what? Dumbledore's neat.
Is he?
He's cool. He seems pretty stumped about how Sirius got into the castle. I mean, he has ideas, but I think they're all kind of like they're searching everywhere. He's not to be found. He doesn't believe a single person inside of the castle would help Black to enter it because Snape is kind of
Snape
insinuating
is like
that.
Lupin.
Yeah.
Lupin did it. Lupin did it.
Right.
He doesn't trust him as far as he could throw him.
No.
Which, I mean, shout out to Snape again here. Katie's gonna. I mean, but like, that's a connection you could make, right? Is
Yeah.
that like,
Yeah.
they
But,
were
like-
great friends.
But Dumbledore.
back in the
But
day.
Dumbledore, I think, knows because at this point he doesn't know all. He thinks that Sirius is
Uh-huh.
like the one that betrayed him and all
Right.
of these things.
Yeah.
So,
So
he's
at
thinking,
this point,
like-
Lupin's pretty pissed at him.
Yes,
Mm-hmm.
because for 12 years he's like, you weren't my friend.
Yeah. Question:
It makes me want to cry.
if Lupin would have known, would he have tried?
Oh,
to help him
absolutely.
Get into the.
Yeah.
And the
school.
whole thing would be a different story.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sirius
Okay.
probably would not have been in Azkaban. They would have gotten him out sooner,
Mm-hmm.
like snuck him out, and Harry would have been kidnapped from the Dursleys and lived with him.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. Interesting. All right. Now so they're talking about that, like Percy's asking about why didn't the Dementors want to help, and Dumbledore kind of says they did. He's just not letting. They will never step cross the threshold of this castle while he's headmaster, and so yeah.
It's interesting to me when you think about Percy's future, how he was like, well, why aren't you letting the Dementors in here? Like, because him and Fudge are very on the same page, and you see that
Yes.
again happen
Yeah.
later on when
Right.
he again is on the ministry side and leaves his family.
Because
you know?
Fudge would totally have them in there.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Because he even says later on, he's like, they're like a necessary thing. Like, they're here to keep us safe, or they're here to do their
Right.
job. And Dumbledore's like, nah, bro.
Can I say though? I think if Fudge would spend, let's say he is the headmaster, he's there chilling out, and they're in his school. Give it 1 week, and like being around them for that long, I think Fudge would actually maybe change his mind on that.
Yeah.
Just because of their effect on the kids and Fudge himself and things. I would be kind of crazy. He says that, but you almost wonder if he really understands the effects. I know he does visit Azkaban, right? And things, but so he does know. I don't know. Yeah.
It's interesting to see how many different groupings of wizardly magical things Dumbledore can communicate with. Because, like, if we go to Goblet of Fire, he knows Murmish, which is, like, really
Yeah.
random and weird.
Yeah.
So I wonder, I wonder how one communicates with a Dementor.
Yeah.
Because, like Sirius said, they don't really talk.
You do this.
That was good. That was good.
Thank you.
I was thinking that was neat to me. He's going to go down and have a talk with the Dementors. Can you imagine like a fired up, pissed off,
Dumbledore being like, how the heck did he get in? What were you guys doing?
I mean, just
why am I even allowing you to be out here?
well, and just in general, like them wanting to be in the school and just the problems that they could cause. Like, I don't know. I just
I don't
would
know.
love to have
Randomly
seen-
just sucking a soul out of a student for no reason.
Yeah,
NBD.
Sucks to suck.
I don't know. I thought that conversation would be nuts to see because he's just such a boss,
Well, and they
You see him
talk
go
about it
talk
in the
to-
next one when you get to see like what McGonagall was going to come out of my mouth, what McGonagall thinks and Flitwick thinks, and even Hagrid, like because they kind of talk about because Madame Rose Myrta is like, I don't like these Dementors around here. It's bad for business.
Yeah. Yeah. So anyways, I thought that was kind of neat. Now, the last thing in my section is Sir Cadogan. Did I say it right?
Yes.
Yep.
Okay. Whose words are, have at thee, coward. This guy...
You scurvy curds.
Curds. It's curs.
Oh, curse.
Same thing.
You scurvy cheese curd.
Same.
We had cheese curds on our taco yesterday.
Oh man.
Sounds good.
That's
That's
awesome.
really good.
But he's the only one who was willing to take up the job. though,
Very brave.
Yeah, very brave. And
He's so brave.
I honestly love this guy.
Me
I
too.
actually love this character, and he's always changing the password. He's on guard. He's changing the password constantly, and he's making them difficult.
But
And,
he gives a whole list of what they're gonna be to Neville.
No, Neville writes them down. Oh, but he does
He
give
does
it to
give
him.
them,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yeah.
He
You're
gives
right.
them
I'm
to
sorry. I didn't understand what
I
you're
mean,
saying.
yes, he writes them down, but
he's trying to be helpful, but at the same time, he's,
It's like,
he's
well-
sort of like, well, that's a
that's
Well,
how,
Chink in the
that's
armor.
how
on
Sirius
Tuesday
gets
at
back in.
4:02 p.m., it's going to be this.
but he's
Yeah,
just,
you're right. I never thought about that.
Yeah.
so anyways, he's just a pretty neat guy. Is this when they first meet him? Didn't they first meet him upstairs?
Right, going to divination.
Going to divination, yeah.
Your favorite
Yeah.
class?
Yeah, my favorite class. So, anyways, I like him, and how long does he stay there for a while? Is he going to be?
He goes. He
He's
stays
there
for a while.
good chunk.
yeah, for a decent
There's
part of
even
this.
in the movie, there's outtakes
Takes a while to fix her.
of him
Yeah, you're right.
with armor that's too big.
I think he says mangy curd.
Maybe that's where I got curd from.
Meg, I was totally joking.
Oh,
But maybe he did say that somewhere.
Oh God.
All right, so that's all for me. That's all for me.
is that all for you?
That's all I've got.
All right.
That's all she wrote.
Round
Guys,
two,
that's
the
a great
green.
book you're reading from.
I know it's yours. So I did something different this time, and I'm just gonna I'm gonna wing my section here. I do have some notes, but not until we get to Snape's.
That makes me so anxious.
I can't wait
okay.
for this. This is great.
So
I believe in you.
thank you.
You're welcome.
So Sir Cadogan, as Ezra just said, is the new portrait guard. And then after they're in the common room, McGonagall summons Harry to her office. And
He's
Harry's
in trouble.
like, what? Why?
You ever really want to go to McGee's office?
I wouldn't I mean, like, I like her a lot, don't get me wrong, but, like, when you get that call from, like, that teacher, you're like, oh,
Oh
yeah.
man.
Yeah.
this is either something unexpectedly good or bad.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
Unexpectedly good.
Unexpectedly good.
Yep.
Huh? Did he go on an unexpected journey?
Yeah. Through Middle
To
Earth.
the office.
So McGee seems... I lost my spot already. This is going really well, guys.
I have faith in you.
So she's like real serious when he gets there. She
Oh.
says real serious about serious.
Wow.
There's
Actually-
no point.
Yeah.
It is. It's about serious.
Whoa.
There's no point hiding it from you any longer, Potter, she said in a very serious voice. I know that this will come as a shock to you, but Sirius Black... And then Harry interjects, I know he's after me. I heard Ron's dad telling his mom, Mr. Weasley works for the Ministry. And McGonagall is very taken aback by this because she thought that they were protecting him by keeping it a secret for so long. Like, we don't want him to worry about this. We're going to just take care of it behind
Yep,
his back.
Here
not have
she
him
is,
worry.
like, oh man, I gotta
I got it.
tell
She was
this kid.
Like, can you
Yeah.
imagine how she was feeling leading up to this? Like, I have to summon him to my office, and I'm going to have to drop this bombshell.
right? Yeah.
And he's just like, I know, it's no big deal.
It's cool.
I understand.
When isn't
So-
someone after me? I got it, McGee.
So she stares at him, And then I see. Well, in that case, Potter, you'll understand why I don't think it's a good idea for you to be practicing Quidditch in the evenings. Out on the pitch with with only your team members is very exposed.
Dang.
Immediately, Harry's outraged. She's like, "What? You understand Quidditch, Professor? Like, I have to be practicing. I have to keep up." And like, I understand that, but at the same time, like, she really is looking out for your best interest.
Right, yeah.
She's very open. It's almost like she's half-heartedly saying this too.
I
'cause
agree.
It's like,
Because she knows her
agree.
only chance at winning this year.
is Harry.
Yeah, it's Harry.
Yeah, so, I mean, again, this was probably pretty hard for her to not only have to bring him in here to tell him that Sirius is after him, but also to be like, and you can't practice in the evenings.
Not that you can't. She doesn't want him.
She doesn't
to.
want him to. She's hoping he will be understanding. So,
or maybe
but he, is outraged.
Too
She
parsec.
actually, like, considers it. She's, and then comes up with a solution. So she's like, yeah, you're right. I do really want you to practice because I want to win the Quidditch Cup.
and she.
So
yeah.
she asks Madam Hooch to oversee their training sessions. So that's how they get around that.
Good afternoon, Madam Hooch.
Good afternoon, class.
Good afternoon.
In my deep studying, real quick, just to interrupt.
No interruption.
I don't think I mentioned this on the last episode. Remember I was talking about Professor McGonagall? Did I mention that she? I mean, you guys already know this, but for me, like she played Quidditch.
For
Yeah.
me?
I didn't know that, and she was out really
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
And like she like had some big fall like in the game leading up to like the Slytherin match and all this stuff, and she like has always wanted to see Gryffindor just beat Slytherin because of something that happened to her. It's left kind of ambiguous, but a fall or like a nasty bludger or something took her off her broom and right before the game or something like that. So sorry.
No,
I just
you're
like
fine.
another like
She's
you
BA.
know.
I
Yeah.
love McGee. I
She's
mean,
awesome.
She's literally thebomb.com.
yeah, she's stern, but like she's stern, but she legitimately cares about her students.
Yeah.
She cares about Harry so much that she's going to sacrifice the Quidditch Cup potentially, which means a lot to her. I know
Yeah.
that sounds silly to some people, but like if that's what means a lot to you, and it takes a lot to be like, you know what, for his best
Safety.
interests, I really should tell him not to practice, and like
Yeah.
that, it takes a lot. So I find it interesting that the weather is worsening steadily as the first Quidditch match draws near. And I think that that's kind of a parallel to just like the feel of the story right now. Mm-hmm. So it's like the weather is mimicking the feels,
Yep.
The fields.
I just thought that was interesting to point out. However, they're at their final training session before Saturday's match, and Oliver Wood comes to his team and says, "We're not playing Slytherin."
What?
And he's very angry because obviously he has been practicing with
Yeah.
the team as if they were playing Slytherin.
Yeah.
Flint's just been to see me, Marcus Flint, and we're playing Hufflepuff instead.
What the heck?
They're-
Hufflepuffs. Ugh.
Get out.
Flint's excuse is that their Seeker's arm's still injured.
Yeah, right.
But
like,
it's-
here's my question.
Yep. Go ahead.
He's
How
milking it.
long? We know this. How long has it been since that stupid bird
Weeks.
situation?
It has to have been weeks.
They're magical. Harry got his arms arms grew
bones,
back in a
right.
day.
Yeah.
Everyone has to know that he's effing faking it.
I know.
It's so annoying.
It's so frustrating.
We're not muggles. We're magical. The stuff's fixed.
Also, don't they have reserves?
No.
Are there reserves?
I don't know if they do.
I don't think they have. Well,
I think they do on like
They can-
professional teams, but I don't think they
on
do at
professional
school.
teams, and I know that like when Harry was, I don't know if this already happened. No, it's later on. He can't play Quidditch. What is it, in Half-Blood Prince or something, for a period of time? No. He's captain, and something happens
Is
where
it
he
Katie?
has to ask Katie Bell.
yeah.
Katie Bell gets injured,
yeah.
so he has to actually find somebody to replace her. So like
Gotcha.
they haven't been practicing or anything, and he goes out and seeks out Dean Thomas.
Gotcha.
Is
Yeah.
that how
Come back on
Dean
the
and
team.
Ginny get together?
I think they're already together at this point.
Yeah, he super doesn't want to ask.
He doesn't
him,
want to
but-
ask Dean, but he knows he's the best option.
He's like,
so
bro,
he asks him.
that's my girl.
Yeah.
We ain't gonna get together yet, but can you stop macking on her? Thanks.
So like because Malfoy's trying to get better, but he
Yeah.
can't.
Yep.
If
They're not
only
going to
my
have time
arm
to train a
felt
Seeker.
better.
Um,
Get lost.
Though Wood is like intent on the fact that they're doing it because they don't want to play in this weather. They think it'll damage their chances.
I mean, probably that
It's
too.
probably both.
I think it's partially, but I think most of the reason is because Malfoy's really trying to milk this before the trial for
Yeah.
Hagrid.
Yeah. Real quick, shout out to Team Hufflepuff for also having to get ready for
Yeah.
a game out of nowhere.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
I
Not
love it.
prepping.
Can I just
Totally.
say one thing?
No, yeah.
Stay ready so you don't have to get ready.
Well, and then that's what they did, is it not? Thank
Maybe.
you for giving
I'm
a little
just saying,
shout
you're
out.
all like, they weren't ready, blah, 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 blah. They were probably prepping too, Ezra, because that's what smart people do.
That's what I'm saying. So I said shout out to Hufflepuff, and I appreciate you confirming that because we obviously you can tell by the end of this chapter they were ready, right, Katie? We were ready.
Whoa, spoiler.
We were ready for it.
Ready.
Are you ready for it?
Ready, Freddy? Go ahead.
Bow, now, now, now. Okay. There's
I think
been
you totally missed that whole thing.
Missed it.
It was a Taylor Swift reference. You're the second lover of Taylor Swift on this
Are
table.
you ready for
Who's
it?
Taylor Swift?
Oh, okay.
Go ahead.
So Harry is pretty furious. He's like, nothing is wrong with Malfoy's arm. He's faking it. And then Wood says, I know, but we can't prove it. We've been practicing all these moves, assuming we're playing Slytherin, and it says Hufflepuff, and their style's quite different. They have a new captain and seeker,
Let's go.
Cedric Diggory.
Let's go.
So,
Pick your boyfriend.
so this is a little bit of foreshadowing here because Cedric plays, obviously, a huge role in the upcoming book, Goblet of Fire.
And then he dies.
Womp
Tweets.
womp.
What's wrong with you? What's wrong with you?
And then he becomes a sparkly vampire.
So does he really die?
Hey.
I think that it's funny here to point out that Angelina, Alicia, and Katie all suddenly giggle together. And Wood is like, what? And he's like upset that they're laughing in this moment because he's so angry. And they're like, he's that tall, good-looking one, isn't he?
And is it Fred that says something next and he like is so annoyed?
It says,
Yeah.
strong and silent, said Katie, and they started to giggle again. He's only silent because he's too thick to string two words together, said Fred impatiently. I don't know why you're worried, Oliver. Hufflepuff are a pushover.
Hey.
Last time we played them, Harry
Whoa.
caught the snitch in about 5 minutes.
What I like about
Remember?
this though is because we know that Fred and Angelina date, right?
Yes.
So, he's
I
probably
think
being
that
like, I like you and I don't want you liking this other guy.
Yeah.
Why aren't you telling me I look
Jealousy.
cute? Mm-hmm.
I like that connection.
yeah.
I love
But Wood is like,
connection.
no, this is serious. Like, Diggory is an excellent seeker.
Yeah, he is.
We can't relax. We have to keep our
Did,
focus.
did he seek his death?
I just want to
Did he
say.
seek that cup?
So I'm like using Sarah's
Ouch.
book to read this here, and she said he's not fast enough to evade the killing curse.
Unreal. Unreal.
Oh my god.
Well, I ain't wrong. Kill the spare.
Unreal, guys.
All right, so
Wait,
after
isn't that what you talked about on your Avada Kedavra? Is that what your podcast was called?
Yeah, that Harry basically, used Cedric,
are you a fan of Cursed Child? Do you want to go back and save Cedric?
Yes, actually. Does that happen? I've never read it.
That's what they
Christian.
try to do.
Spoiler.
Nuh-uh. Nuh-uh. Are you guys
about
being serious?
Cedric.
Nuh-uh.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. I have to read it now.
Albus
I'll give it to you.
Albus gets very upset that Harry let Cedric die.
No
So he
way.
wants to go back in time and save Cedric.
So basically, Albus is on your side. Ezra.
Let's
He didn't
go.
let him die though.
but that's how Albus takes it.
Yeah,
you
because
know?
he's mad at his dad.
I
Because his
know.
dad told him, he's like, sometimes I wish you weren't my kid.
Yeah.
Ooh.
But
I'll let you borrow. You can read
Yeah,
it.
okay. I'll read it now.
Harry is a
I'll read it.
horrible dad.
Jeez.
I just don't. He didn't have one, so he
I
doesn't
know.
know what to expect.
It's a lot
No
of
excuses.
things.
Okay, all right.
All right, so they're practicing. This is their final practice. Now, day before the match, we've got Defense Against the Dark Arts. But leading up to this match, Wood is just like so obsessive. He's like, every time he sees any of them in the hallway, he's like, listen, you gotta do this, you gotta do that, you gotta practice this, you gotta think about this.
Yep.
So he catches Harry in the hallways and he's telling him for the 3rd time.
Ooh, good bell.
Thank
That
you.
was good. He's giving him tips for the 3rd time to. Diggory's got a very fast swerve, Harry, so you might want to try looping him. And he's like giving them these little
Oh,
clues.
he's gonna loop in back to that point.
Yep. He's going to Lupin himself over to Defense Against the Dark Arts, where he thinks he's going to have Professor Lupin as a teacher, but surprise, surprise.
We'd be remiss if we didn't discuss how Snape was teaching that class that day.
Yeah, so Harry, because he got stuck by Oliver giving him all these tips, he is 10 minutes late to Defense Against the Dark Arts.
Sad tweet.
And he's like, I'm sorry I'm late, Professor Lupin, but it was Snape. So
Dude, I'd be so
Harry
mad.
just like stops in his footsteps and is like, where's Professor Lupin? And
It's like, oh my god, the potion really did poison him.
What I like is that he's so sassy here.
I
Yes.
know, this is sassy Harry coming out. Snape says he's feeling too ill to teach today, said Snape with a twisted smile. I believe I told you to sit down, but Harry stayed where he was. What's wrong with him? Snape's black eyes glittered. Nothing life-threatening, he said, looking as though he wished it was. 5 more points from Gryffindor. Oh, by the way, he took
Got that.
he took 10 points from Gryffindor for Harry being 10 minutes late.
my God,
5
the
more
two of
points
you.
from Gryffindor, and if I have to ask you to sit down again, it will be 50. So he sits down, and then they're trying to tell Snape where they are in Defense Against the Dark Arts. So he is not having it. He doesn't care where they're at. But Hermione interjects. She's like, "No, sir, please. We've covered red caps."
And
What did she
hinky
say?
punks.
Bogarts, red caps, kappas, and
Kappas.
grindylows.
Yeah.
We're set to start hinky punks. So he's like, no, I expect first years to know those kinds of things. We're going to talk about, and he flips to the back of the book, and he says, werewolves. Dun,
Wow.
dun, dun.
Wonder why.
Yeah, I wonder why.
Yeah.
Why would he want them
He
to do
goes to
that?
the very back chapter, is what Harry says, and says, turn to page 394. Now, I was wondering, I was like, is there any significance in the number 394? Because
Honestly,
it is like, this is such a quote in the fandom, right? Like, people talk about it.
People
all
have
the
this
time. People have
tattooed.
394 as tattoos. Like, it is just,
'Cause
I don't
he's
know.
Turn to page 394.
Yep. So this is literally the only thing I could find. It's a Reddit post, and it says the significance of page 394 in Prisoner of Azkaban, other than Lupin's secret. This is by Dream Sword 132. It was posted 4 years ago. Yes.
Is this a Monday? Did they just come off a weekend? I'm trying to look up because it's probably around the full moon, right? So
It
it's,
is,
It's
'cause
at the
he's
very
ill.
end of November because November 29th was the full moon. It's a Monday.
thank you, ma'am.
Interesting.
Yeah. Sorry, a little
So
random tidbit.
394. If you add 3 and 9 and 4 together, you get 16, and then 1 plus 6 is 7. We know 7 is an important number. We hardly, like page 394. People basically the consensus on Reddit is that people are grasping at straws here.
Right.
There's absolutely no significance to it. We have no idea why this blew up as such a huge quote in the fandom.
Well, I think there was that theory that's like, oh, that's the page where you find out he's a werewolf. No, it's
But
not.
it's
Oh my
not.
god, when I thought that was true, I was stoked, but then
Right.
Yeah,
it
you like
wasn't.
open your book. Like, oh my
Yeah.
gosh, and they're like, oh,
Yeah.
no.
Yeah.
Wait a second. What was the what did you just read about the numbers adding?
3
subtracting?
plus 9 plus 4 is 16. Right?
Okay.
And then 1 plus 6 is 7. So
1
7 is a
plus
huge number.
6. Because I was looking at Interesting.
And
What
it says
if-
that, like, a lot of people are like, oh, well, maybe page 394 in all the books, like, something significant happens. And that's not really true. The only thing significant that happens on any page 394 in, like, an original hardcover copy is Deathly Hallows. That's when Harry asks Griphook about breaking into Gringotts.
What if
But-
it's because like platform 9 3/4, but you can't have a book that's like 900 pages long? So maybe
The
she
slash
just
Well,
like
is
this
the
was,
flipped it
this
around.
was
the
the other
slash,
thing
yeah.
that people came up with, is it is 9, 3, and 4,
Yeah.
like platform 9 3/4. So, like, I don't know, maybe she just took those numbers because she likes them together and changed it up to make this another number. Like, oh, it's pulled from 9 3/4.
I mean, it makes a lot of
3,
sense
9,
because
4.
the
I just said that.
yeah. it's been,
I'm saying that
Okay.
I read that.
Okay.
That
Yeah.
I did.
You
I
were
also
confusing me
read that in
because
here.
you're looking at me like I was really confused.
No. But that's literally, everybody is just like, it's a random number.
So you're saying I'm a genius?
I wanted it to be
Yes.
something more.
The Hufflepuff's a genius.
Dear Joe.
Guys, what
So-
if you took what if you took 3 plus 4, got to 7, subtracted that from 9,
Can you not
and
do
then
all of these things?
added 5?
Do you want me to
back
do
it?
this really quick?
Would
You
that-
want to repeat that?
would
What?
that- what if you took 3 plus 4 equals 7, subtracted the 7 from the 9, which would give you 2, and then you add 5 back to it? Does that?
Why?
Yeah, that's
would you
negative
have
3,
5?
though.
No, it's not. He did it right.
No, because if you did 7 minus
just-
9, that's negative 2.
We're just
plus
throwing out
5
way
is
too many
3.
numbers
I'm
here.
just messing around. I don't know.
PEMDAS, my friends. PEMDAS.
So I thought that we should dive into werewolves a little bit here because this is where Harry and Ron and Hermione learn about them, and this is also when Hermione figures out what Lupin is.
We might get into a hairy situation.
We could. So J.K. Rowling has an article on Pottermore that is all about werewolves, which I find very interesting. I haven't read it in a while. I did read it when it came out, but I figured I could kind of paraphrase here a little bit for you guys. Your mic is going to fall. Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah. So there are werewolves worldwide, and they have traditionally been pariahs in the wizarding communities from which they often spring. Witches and wizards who are frequently involved in hunting or studying creatures are exposed to a higher risk of attack than the average muggle, obviously because they are seeking out magical creatures. The great English authority on werewolves was Professor Marlowe Forfang. He undertook the first comprehensive study of their habits, which is interesting. He found that nearly all of those he managed to study and question had been wizards before being bitten. He also learned from the werewolves that muggles taste different to wizards, and that they are much more likely to die of their wounds, whereas witches and wizards can survive to become werewolves. So that makes sense, I think, because you have magic like in your blood,
Right.
that you potentially have some extra stuff in there to help heal magical wounds.
Yeah.
So that's kind of
That makes sense.
interesting. The Ministry of Magic's policies on werewolves have always been muddled and inefficient. We know this a little bit from Remus's background. You know, he's not really able to get a good job, which is why he lives in poverty for so long leading up to this. They have a werewolf registry. It kind of reminds me a little bit of, you know, like the Jews having to register themselves and all that kind of stuff. I don't know if that was supposed to be the correlation there, but a werewolf code of conduct was developed way back in 1637, which werewolves were supposed to sign, promising not to attack anyone, but to lock themselves up securely every month. However, unsurprisingly, nobody signed the code as nobody was prepared to walk into the ministry and admit to being a werewolf.
Yeah.
Right, because there was such a stigma on them. You know?
Right,
Yep.
because as soon as anybody knew that, then you were treated differently.
Yeah.
So there is a werewolf registry. However, because of being so scared to tell anybody that you are a werewolf, it's not very accurate. They're supposed to enter their name and personal details. It's remained incomplete and unreliable because of so many of the newly bitten sought to conceal their condition and escape the inevitable shame and exile. They were shunted between the beast and being divisions of the department for a long time. Department of Regulation and Control Magical Creatures, which kind of reminds me of like house elves, I think, should kind of be, or goblins. They're goblins and house elves, like they're creatures, but they're human-like, you know. So they, if you think about other magical creatures, you're thinking of maybe an Occamy or
Hippogriff.
a hippogriff, something like that. Like it's clearly an animal. It can't necessarily communicate with you very well. It definitely doesn't communicate to you in English or words, right? But like goblins, werewolves, house elves, they all can communicate with you, hold their own thoughts, have feelings. I mean, they're beings, right?
Right.
But all three of those things, I think, struggled for a long time between being put on the beast or being division. Nobody could make up their minds whether werewolves should be classified as human or bestial. So for a while, the Werewolf Registry and Werewolf Capture Unit were both in the Beast Division, while at the same time an Office for Werewolf Support Services was established in the Being Division. So, like, right there, you can already tell that the Ministry is confused as to where to put them. Like, half
Yeah.
of the stuff that supports werewolves is in the Beast Division, and half is in the Being Division.
It also shows probably the people who are like, let's help these people, and the other people who are like,
Right.
these people are
Exactly.
monsters.
Yeah. It does say, though, that, like, nobody really ever presented themselves to support services because, again, then you would have to go into the registry
Yeah.
and everybody would know that you're a werewolf.
Interesting.
All of this eventually closed down.
Whoa, I didn't know that.
So, because I think because nobody was utilizing it,
Right.
nobody
Yeah.
wanted to come in and say, I'm a werewolf, I need to be on the registry, I need support services, all that stuff.
That's
Well, yeah, I
sad.
don't want my tax dollars going to a service that's not being,
True
utilized.
that.
So I'm just
True. To become a werewolf, it's necessary to be bitten by a werewolf in their wolfish form at the time of the full moon. When the werewolf's saliva mingles with the victim's blood, contamination occurs.
Wow.
However, we know that even if a werewolf bites someone as a human, you still can get wolfish tendencies, but you won't be a full-fledged werewolf.
Is
And
that
you
like
see
Bill
that,
Weasley?
Yeah.
right? Yeah, you see that with Greyback. Greyback attacks even when he's not transformed, and the people he attacks, such as Bill Weasley, they're just a little.
And then he
They
goes
have
and joins
they
the
have some
dark side.
tendencies.
they like their
Yeah.
meat on the raw side.
Yes.
Right.
Take their-
Exactly. I also find this interesting that they say many Muggle myths and legends surrounding werewolves are false, with little nuggets of truth. So, silver bullets do not kill werewolves, but a mixture of powdered silver and dittany applied to a fresh bite will seal the wound and prevent the victim bleeding to death.
But like, what if they shot the wolf through the heart? Would he die?
Well, yeah.
But I think that what the legend is that silver specifically will kill him. It doesn't matter where you shoot him.
Yeah.
Just the silver itself will do it.
Yeah.
This is sad.
It says, although tragic tales are told of victims who beg to be allowed to die rather than live on as werewolves. This is really, really long, so I'm gonna post it for everybody to read, but really quick, I'll just talk about the transformation and then I'll move on from this. So, like, the monthly transformation is extremely painful for a werewolf. It's usually preceded and succeeded by a few days of very ill health, which is what we're seeing right here with Remus. Even though he's on Wolfsbane right now, the Wolfsbane does not stop the transformation. It just keeps him from losing his mind. So he transforms into a werewolf, but he is still Remus,
Yeah.
if that makes sense.
Well, he's able to sleep. Like when he takes it, he sleeps
just
in
sleeps.
his office.
Right.
He curled up.
So
But
cute.
he's still a wolf.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Are
Yeah.
you guys serious?
Yeah.
Oh my
Um,
gosh, that's cool. I did not know that. I thought it meant that it just stopped the transformation.
That'd be
No.
awesome.
Holy smokes. So you're saying,
You still have to go through it.
oh, Wolfman is just, chilling out.
Wolf man.
I mean, does he have to he gets bigger as a wolf, right? I mean, he's got to take them robes. He probably sleeps nude. Yeah, cool. All right.
A lot of naked talk
A lot
today.
of naked talk. All right.
Yep.
Interesting.
Going along with the transformation, if you have a chance to either look or have the art of Harry Potter, there's a page in it where it kind of documents like
It's
someone
a
drew
beautiful illustration, but scary. It's good.
You can see they artistically like have the transformation happen, and it looks painful. Like, and I never
Yeah.
thought about it really until I saw that. And I was like, oh my gosh, I guess it would be painful.
I mean, your bones literally have to shift.
Yeah.
So just like think about that feeling
Muscles
inside.
and
Your
tissue
muscles are
and-
tearing and growing, and your bones potentially are breaking and repositioning. And it's crazy. So yeah, that you don't feel good for a couple days leading up to your body preparing for this transformation, and then after kind of healing from it happening.
and think like you have to go through it every month.
Yep. So like solidly a week, you are probably not feeling yourself. So
Wow.
he
Kind
only
of sounds like a
gets-
female, if you know what I'm
it's
talking about.
pretty much a period. Yep.
Well, it's probably worse than a period, but
Yeah. I would say it's definitely worse.
Oh.
Now, if you aren't on Wolfsbane, so like we were talking about Wolfsbane, if you're not, you completely lose your human sense of right and wrong. Like
you're an animal.
You turn into not yourself. Like when you transform and when Remus transforms and he's not on Wolfsbane potion, he doesn't know that Sirius is his best friend, and he doesn't know that James is his best friend. The only
Forget
reason,
Peter, just eat him.
Yeah, just eat Peter. He's a rat. Who cares?
Yeah.
But that's why they transform, because it is werewolves really only seek out human blood and flesh. So sad. Yep. They also suffer from a permanent loss of moral sense, just because you have to go through that all the time. So, lastly, and I kind of touched on this a little bit, but alternatively, they may also be dangerous even while human, as in the case of Fenrir Greyback, who attempts to bite and maim as a man and keeps his nails sharpened into claw-like points for this purpose.
Yeah, I just think because he's a
He's
word I'm
psycho.
not allowed to say on the podcast.
Yeah.
Not a nice dude.
Yep. You could create you could have a fondness for rare meat. Otherwise, you should not be troubled by long-term ill effects. However, any bite or scratch given by a werewolf will leave lasting scars, whether or not he or she was in wolf's form at the time of the attack.
And you
Yes,
see that on his
ma'am.
face. His being Bill Weasley's face.
Yeah.
Yep.
Poor dude.
And how they reproduce werewolves is by attacking non-werewolves. I mean, that's basically
I mean, they don't hook
what
up like
happens there.
regular animals.
I would think so. So it does.
It's extremely
Oh,
rare.
One curious feature of the conditions is that if two werewolves meet and mate at the full moon, which is highly unlikely, and has only been known to occur twice, the
Okay.
result of the mating will be wolf cubs, which resemble true wolves in everything except their abnormally high intelligence.
No
They are
way.
not more
Whoa.
aggressive than normal wolves and do not single out humans for attack. Such a litter was once set free under conditions of extreme secrecy in the Forbidden Forest at Hogwarts with the kind permission of Albus Dumbledore.
Whoa.
Oh my god, so that must be because they're always, because I always wondered this. So Draco said in Sorcerer's Stone there's werewolves in the forest. It must be those cubs because
Whoa.
that's crazy.
Well, my mind is blown. Yeah, they grew into beautiful and unusually intelligent wolves, and some of them live there still, which has given rise to stories about werewolves in the forest.
Crazy.
Whoa!
Because I always wondered, because, Draco and them, they go into the forest, and this is, I think, a movieism, but you hear a werewolf. And I'm like, but is it the full moon? Like, who knows? It could not be the full moon. Like, they're just doing that. But it's got to be those werewolves they're just little wolves with, they're smart.
My God.
They're smart little wolves.
Be smart.
So who hooked up to make that happen? I mean, is that going to be a Fantastic Beast thing? Or we're gonna
We're gonna write the fan fiction.
Well, also, side note here. So, lycanthropy, which is the condition of being a werewolf, is genetic.
Okay.
So even if you are born as a human or witch or wizard, well, I guess they're humans, muggle, witch or wizard, and you get bit, you never had that gene until you were bit, but it literally changes your DNA.
Okay.
So if in human form a werewolf has a baby,
Right.
there is a chance that baby could be a werewolf as well.
So
Because that's what he's so worried about when Tonks is pregnant.
Yeah, with
Remus is so worried that his baby is going to be like him. Thankfully, that gene doesn't transfer to Teddy, but it could have.
We had a baby eats a werewolf. You guys remember that?
However, Teddy does become a metamorphagus, which is pretty cool. So.
But Teddy can also pass it on, right?
Teddy can pass it on if he has kids.
It's just even less,
Gosh, that's
less
crazy.
likely.
wow, that's interesting.
Gosh, you learn something new every day.
Yeah.
So that was long, but that's my part.
Wait, no, you have to bring up something really important.
What?
Ron sticks up for Hermione, and it's awesome.
Yes,
'Cause he
yes.
loves her.
Yeah, I like this. So, Hermione, where is she? Oh, she says, "Please, sir," said Hermione, whose hand was still in the air. She's answering the question about werewolves. The werewolf differs from the true wolf in several small ways. The snout of the werewolf, and then Snape snaps at her and takes 5 points from her for being a insufferable know-it-all. And Ron, yeah, I mean, so Hermione goes red. She puts her hand down and just stares at the floor, and her eyes fill with tears.
Gosh, it's so sad.
It was a mark of how much the class loathed Snape that they were all glaring at him because every one of them had called Hermione a know-it-all at least once, and Ron, who told Hermione she was a know-it-all at least twice a week, said loudly, "You asked us a question and she knows the answer. Why ask if you don't want to be told?"
Yep.
Yes.
I agree.
Get him, Ron.
Yes.
The class knew instantly he'd gone too far. Snape
Good. Who
advanced
cares?
on Ron slowly, and the room held its breath. "Detention, Weasley," Snape said silkily, his face very close to Ron. "And if I ever hear you criticize the way I teach a class again, you will be very sorry indeed."
What are we gonna
But
do?
go Ron.
What are you gonna do? What's he gonna do?
And then he goes on to say again, very poorly explained. That is incorrect. Oh, hold on. I thought he was criticizing Hermione.
No,
Is
he's
he?
criticizing Lupin, doesn't he?
Okay. I was gonna
Yeah.
say. I'm like, and he still goes on to just poop on her even more. What the heck?
Goodness.
But go Ron for finally not being a jerk in times of need. He stuck up for
Well-
his friend, and I can appreciate that.
Yeah, it's like, guys, let's be honest.
And like I've said, I love Ron. I just want to get that out there. I love him. He's one of my favorite characters. But he really, he has jealousy issues, and he's got...
He's not the perfect person,
No.
but no one is.
Yep.
But God, when he wants to stand up and be a fierce
Oh,
friend,
yeah.
he can.
yeah. It'd be like you guys make fun of me all the time. Let's be honest. You guys make fun of me
No
all
one
the
has
time.
ever made fun of you
I don't
a day
make fun
in
of
our lives.
anybody.
I'm telling truths over here. Swish and Flick likes to, off the air, make fun of Ez, and that's okay.
It's out of love.
But it is out of love, and if somebody else were to make fun of me, I have a feeling you would defend me.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know.
Definitely.
Or I'd
I don't
join
really
them.
like
Sarah,
it
I
that
knew
much.
that was coming. I knew that was coming. Oh, gosh.
I don't think I like you enough to defend you.
All right. Well, you guys see I was telling truths. Let's move on.
All right. I see yellow.
Yeah.
Yellow to the yellow girl.
She just dinged for herself.
Oh, yeah. So poor Harry wakes up in the middle of the night right before this big
Big Quidditch
scary
match.
Quidditch match because Peeves is
It's
blowing.
not scary. They're just playing Hufflepuff.
It's scary because
The
there's
weather.
a storm outside.
I-
Hey,
And
get out of here.
yeah.
So Peeves was blowing in his ear.
I would hate that.
I'd
If I
be
could
so
punch
mad.
thieves, I would.
Yeah.
Get the hell away from me.
So Harry looks at his alarm clock. How does that work? Because is it a magical alarm clock? Because
Oh, I don't
electricity doesn't work at
know.
Hogwarts.
They're like not even listening, and you have a whole revelation.
Yeah.
Sorry, I was blowing in
I'm
Meg's ear.
sorry. I'm so sorry.
Harry looks at his alarm clock to see what time it is because he was woken up. But how does his alarm clock work? Because electricity doesn't work at Hogwarts.
I know why.
Magic.
No.
Get
It's
out.
a different type of alarm clock.
Because there's some alarm clocks that are plugged in and use electricity, but others just use batteries. And
Yeah,
I think
but
that
can
that's
they use a
fine.
battery?
I think
Hold on. You millennials.
How does the
let me
Weasley
just-
clock work?
No, but do batteries?
The mechanical clocks.
You're acting like
Wind
you're
up
so
clock?
old. You're only 2 years
Back
older
in
than-
my day, I had to
back in
wind
my
up the old
day,
watch.
You
I could
had
put
to
an alarm
wind
on.
up the clock.
You could set a clock.
Back in
to,
my day, we used sundials.
Back in my day, I'd go out and crank the car to get it started.
Oh.
That was my new car. Before that, I just used to ride a horse and buggy to work.
We all died of dysentery.
Jiminy. So,
Back on that Oregon Trail.
as I said, I
Oh,
get made
God.
fun of on the podcast now as well. So, oh.
But does it count?
Oh,
Like,
Mechanical
God.
clocks. It's just it's got a mechanism.
I will accept that.
Okay.
But
I'll
if
try to
that's
give
the
you an
answer,
explanation.
but what happens if you like? Does it stop if you don't crank it enough or whatever?
yeah, you
Yeah,
oversleep.
you gotta. Yeah, you miss your.
How often do you have to do that?
I don't know. I just you gotta wind her up. You know.
When you start noticing that it like starts getting 5 minutes slow.
Does it just
10 minutes
know
Yeah.
what the time is, or you would have to
You gotta
set it every time you crank
Yeah.
it?
So you kind of have to know. You have to you'd have to kind of compare it to other clocks, sundials, whatnot. You know. So
Actually, he's so old he invented the sundial.
Oh, really?
Yes.
I'm an old
Wow.
wizard. I'm an old wizard.
We have a celebrity here.
Is your name Gandalf?
The Gray, yeah, might be. Thank you.
Gandalf, the
Actually, I'm more of a fan
not
of,
as good as Dumbledore.
more of a-
Wishes he
more-
went to Hogwarts.
more of a fan of Radagast the Brown.
Is
yeah.
he the one with birds on his head?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But don't call me a bird.
I was gonna say he had bird poop on because that's really what I remember, but there were also birds.
Okay, well,
God.
it's a great and powerful wizard, but let's go ahead.
Just
This
like
all
Oz.
started talking
Yeah.
about a clock.
Alarm clock.
Okay.
But
So,
be an alarm head.
so now that Harry's awake, he can't fall back asleep because of the storm going on outside. And it is, I
I love
believe,
storms in the
a
middle of the night.
4:15.
What?
Poor Harry.
So we're not in the witching hour.
No,
That's
What's
good.
the witching hour?
3 o'clock
Yeah.
typically.
3 a.m.
Is that when Winnie comes back from the dead on Halloween?
That's just like when supernatural things tend to happen.
Yeah. Yep.
Like legitimately.
So as Harry goes to leave the common room because he's like, I can't go back to sleep, Crookshanks tries to get in, and he has to nudge him all the way down the staircase with his foot. He's like, I reckon Ron was right about you.
Mm-hmm.
No, Ron is wrong.
No, he's correct. Crookshanks is smart
Oh, yeah.
and
He's
is
trying
after
to get
Scabbers.
Scabbers.
Yeah. Yep.
So he whiles away the hours until dawn in the common room, stopping every now and then to stop Crookshanks from getting upstairs.
Mm-hmm.
And he just thinks about this Quidditch match he has to play in the storm because it's so loud even in the common room. And he's worried about Cedric because he's a 5th year. He's bigger than Harry. Normally Seekers are light and speedy, but in this weather, being a little bigger and weightier is actually going to be an
And
advantage.
he's
Yeah.
worried about his boyfriend,
Right.
He doesn't want him to get too hurt while he beats him.
And here's the line, Meg. As Harry leaves the common room for breakfast, Sir Cadogan, stand and fight, you mangy cur. So he eats some breakfast. He tries to feel better. The rest of the team comes down, and Oliver's a little nervous. And as they're going out to the pitch, and it's pouring rain, Harry sees Malfoy, Crabbe, and Goyle all laughing at him and pointing at him. Jerks. Because it's basically their fault that
Yeah.
Gryffindor is playing. Well, it's not their fault that they're playing because they're going to be playing anyway. But that Malfoy doesn't have to play against them, I guess.
You know what makes me smile though is that I think no matter what they would have lost because of all the stuff that happens.
Yeah.
So I'm happy that they don't have to lose against Slytherin. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I don't want Malfoy to
Yeah.
have that satisfaction.
Agreed.
'Cause
Yeah.
he's not as good. And that's not to say that he's not a good seeker. He's just not as good of a seeker as Harry is.
Right. Yes.
Can I ask a question? This might be the same in Lord of the Rings as it is in
What's that?
Harry Potter. It's a thing with the ring and the Lord. But there's the wizard.
Who's the Lord in it?
The Lord of the Rings?
Yeah.
Sauron.
Oh.
Kind of the Lord of the Rings.
Do you know who that is?
He's the eye.
The eye. The all-seeing eye. But anyways, real quick. So the weather. They can't control. Can they control any of the weather in
Nope.
They can't control it, right? Okay.
No.
Same thing in Middle Earth. I just wondered. They asked Gandalf.
I think that,
can you do
like,
something
with-
about this rain, and he's like,
I think with
You
this particular storm though, I don't think the Dementors are helping it. Not that
Probably
saying that
not.
they're controlling
Agreed.
it, but like
They're egging it on.
in my mind, like Dementors bring on
bad weather.
yeah.
gotcha. Okay.
Or make it more susceptible. I
Or-
don't know if that's like an actual thing, but
Just wondered. All right.
So the team's changing in the locker room, and they're all waiting for Wood to do like his usual pre-match pep talk, but it never came. He tried to speak a couple times, but he made an odd gulping noise, then shook his head hopelessly and beckoned them out onto the field.
do you think he had like a bad feeling, like knew it was gonna end well, and he just didn't even want to talk?
I think he was just really nervous because like all the odds were against them this
Yeah.
time,
Oh,
you know.
the odds were not in their favor.
No. Yes.
I forgot.
Ezra.
Diggory.
Diggory.
Excuse me. Harry,
Diggory.
Harry.
All right.
Harry.
All right.
I'm
Go
going for
Gryffindor.
Cedric.
Go, Gryffindor. Go, Gryffindor.
I'm like Luna. I root for the Lions.
Hufflepuff. Hufflepuff.
Hufflepuff.
Third or nothing.
So the wind is so strong when they walk out, they're like staggering sideways. They couldn't
crazy.
hear the crowd over the thunder, and
Wow.
rain is just splattering down. Harry can't see because he has glasses.
Yeah.
So how is he going to see the snitch?
Isn't that ironic that he's wearing glasses and he can't see?
Oh, that's a real problem, though. In the rain, that's. Poor
I will
fella.
also say, as a glasses wearer, nothing annoys me more when I go outside and get rain on my
There's rain.
glasses.
Yeah.
I will
I
take
know.
them off and stick them in a pocket so I don't get water
It
stuck
sucks.
on them.
So Gryffindor's in scarlet, and Hufflepuff is in canary yellow.
Fly like a bird.
I want to fly away.
Can I just read JK's description here for you of like the weather and everything?
Yes,
Absolutely.
because I love it. I love this scene, if only for the description,
I
like
just-
how you get the real feeling of being there.
This is why she's the queen.
Yes, all hail.
Actually, the queen is Elizabeth.
Actually, her name is Joanne Kathleen Rowling.
Wow.
So Alicia says soothingly, "We don't mind a bit of rain." Says, but it was considerably more than a bit of rain. Such was the popularity of Quidditch that the whole school turned out to watch the match as usual, but they ran down the lawns toward the Quidditch pitch, heads bowed against the ferocious wind, umbrellas being whipped out of their hands as they went. I just
Crazy.
think that's...
There's more too. Sometime
It's over here. It's over here.
While I say this.
Yeah.
Oh, here it is. Here it is.
Go for it.
The wind was so strong that they staggered sideways as they walked out onto the pitch. If the crowd was cheering, they couldn't hear it over the fresh rolls of thunder. Rain was splattering over Harry's glasses. How on earth was he going to see the snitch in this?
Can you read down here too?
After Mount Your Brooms.
Yeah, Harry saw.
Where? Harry saw Madam Hooch's mouth form the words, "Mount your brooms." He pulled his right foot out of the mud with a squelch and swung it over his Nimbus 2000. Madam Hooch put her whistle to her lips and gave it a blast that sounded shrill and distant. They were off.
That's
Did I
crazy.
try to make a squelch with my mouth?
Yes.
That did not work at all. Good grief.
And then it says here, within 5 minutes, Harry was soaked to his skin and frozen.
Hey, that's in my notes.
Sorry.
Can I have the book?
And he still couldn't see. It was all blurs of yellow and red, and he couldn't even hear the commentary over the wind. He's losing track of time. He's almost running into other players because he can't see at all. Everyone was so wet and the rain was so thick you could hardly tell anyone apart.
Yep.
Which is crazy because yellow and red, they're pretty different. And I love this description. The sky was getting darker as though night had decided to come early. We've all seen a bad storm roll in, and that's exactly what happens. So Wood calls for time out. Herm to the rescue! Woo, 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 woo. She's like, Harry, I just had an idea. And she uses impervious on his glasses so it'll repel water.
Can I say from Puff Nation over here that
Points
Do
to
you
me.
think that's cheating?
I think it's cheating. I guess
Oh my
No
gosh.
way.
He can't help it that he needs spectacles to be able to see. Diggory
True.
probably has perfect eyes because he's perfect.
Oh, you're
Not
right.
for long,
Yeah,
though, 'cause he's
okay.
about to be dead in a
I was
year.
going to say he's not perfect enough to live through the next 2 years.
Well, anyways.
So Wood looks like he could kiss her because he's so stoked about
Isn't
this.
that- I remember reading that and I was just like, do it.
So full of determination, the team takes flight again.
Yeah. This whole description does kind of remind me of like when I played football and it was raining. Like it seems like ominous for them, but like you're like, it's a toss up, man. I mean, like
Right.
it's just a muddy field and
What's football?
It's a thing you play with.
Is it soccer?
Unfortunately, no. I played
plays
real.
American
I played American
football.
football, but anyways,
Well,
yeah,
right.
just crazy time. That's a wild.
I would hate it, to be honest with you. I don't like storms. So Harry is back out on the field with his team. The rain is crazy, and there's a huge clap of thunder and lightning, and it lights the sky. The game was getting more and more dangerous by the minute, and Harry knew he needed to catch the snitch soon. So he turned back to head to the middle of the pitch, but in that moment there was another crack of lightning that illuminated the stands, and Harry saw the silhouette of an enormous, shaggy black dog, clearly imprinted against the sky, motionless in the topmost empty row of seats, and he was completely distracted, basically. So his numb hand slipped from the broom, which causes him to drop a couple of feet, and when he looks up again, the dog is gone. So Wood yells over to Harry to look behind him, so he turns around and sees the speck of gold in between him and Cedric Diggory. So he tries to get there fast on his Nimbus, growling to it to go faster, but something was happening. There was an eerie silence that fell over the stadium. Even the wind, which seemed stronger than ever, seemed to be silent. It was like someone had turned the sound off, or Harry was going to come out of my mouth, not his name. Harry was going deaf. So he got the horrible feeling of cold sweep over him, and he looks away from the snitch to see about 100 Dementors. And they were basically looking up at Harry, but they have no face, so he's not really seeing the face either because they don't have one. And so he felt like he was being filled with ice cold water, And then he heard screaming inside his head, and it was a woman who was screaming. What is she going to say? Not Harry, not Harry. Please, not Harry.
That doesn't sound like screaming.
I can't do it. I'm not screaming because I'm already too loud. Stand aside, you silly girl. Stand aside now. That's Voldemort. Not Harry, please no. Take me,
Don't
kill me
say
instead.
The V word.
Okay. So, numbing, swirling white mist was filling Harry's brain. What was he doing? Why was he flying? He needed to help her. She was going to die. She was going to be murdered. He was falling through the icy mist. Not Harry, please, have mercy, have mercy. A shrill voice was laughing. The woman was screaming, and Harry knew no more. It's crazy. So he heard the screaming and he falls. So he wakes up to hearing people talk about him. And they're basically being like, lucky the ground was soft. I thought he was dead for sure. But he didn't even break his glasses. But, that's kind of a feat. He didn't break his glasses. So Harry didn't know.
Maybe the impervious repelled the impact.
Oh, could be.
I don't know.
So Harry didn't know where he was or how he got there and what he had been doing before this. All he knew was that his whole body was hurting. So the voices again were talking about the Dementors.
We've been there.
Talking about the Dementors that invaded the pitch. So Harry opens his eyes to discover that he is in the hospital wing. He's surrounded by the Gryffindor Quidditch team, Ron and Hermione, and they all look soaked down to their bones. It literally says it looks like they just came out of a swimming pool. That's how it's described in the book. So Fred asks how he's feeling, and he suddenly remembers everything that happened. The lightning, the Grim, the Dementors, and the Snitch. And he asks what happened, and they tell him again how far he fell and how they thought that he was dead. And Hermione was really upset. Basically, like you can tell she had been crying because her eyes were bloodshot. Harry then asks how the match went and if they could get like a replay because of what happened. And then everyone's kind of silent. So they're like, And then he was like, wait, we didn't lose, did we? But Diggory had indeed caught the snitch just as Harry had fallen. But when Diggory had realized what happened, he told them he wanted a rematch because he felt like it shouldn't have counted. But they had won fair and square, and even Wood had agreed.
Hufflepuff.
Let's go.
Yeah. But speaking of Wood, he was nowhere to be seen. And so we are told that he's still in the showers, probably
fella.
pondering his life and how he is a failure. And I think like Fred and George were like, no, he's probably trying to drown himself. So Fred and George try to cheer him up by telling him it was bound to happen where he was playing a game and didn't catch the snitch. But there's still a chance to win the cup if the games go in essentially their favor. They just had to win a certain amount. They have to win against, is it Slytherin or Ravenclaw, 200 points?
I think Slytherin.
I think Slytherin. They have to beat them by 200 points, and
The
they'd still
odds
be able to
need
win the cup.
in their favor.
Did we know all of this after one match? It's kind of weird, isn't it?
What?
No,
They only have to win one other match.
but I think they only play they play Gryffindor, Slytherin once, Hufflepuff and Ravenclaw once. Hufflepuff, you know what I mean? They each play once. They don't play multiple times with Gryffindor and Slytherin.
Right.
Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's kind of lame.
They're just
Well,
big,
and I
makes
also
the
think-
matches bigger, more important.
She I don't think liked to write Quidditch, so
She
she's
didn't.
so she probably kept it that way to be like, I'm not writing a bunch of matches throughout this whole school year. So Fred and George try to cheer him up. Nope, I already read that. So Harry's super bummed because this is the first time he lost a Quidditch game, and he didn't catch the snitch. But Madam Pince makes the team leave. Yep.
Pomfrey.
Why did I
You
call her
keep saying
Pince?
pins.
Why did I call her Pince?
Because they're
I
so
keep calling
similar.
Sirius
Oh
Remus,
my
so it's all
gosh.
good.
Guys, today's not my day. I don't know if I'm going to spell this right. Nope. Pomfret.
But,
I think there's an F.
Yep.
So Madame Pomfrey makes the team leave, but Ron and Hermione can stay, or at least she lets them stay for a little bit longer. So Fred reminds him before he leaves not to beat himself up too much. He's still the best seeker. And they leave, and so then Ron and Hermione sit and talk to Harry. Hermione tells him that Dumbledore was very angry, but we already know that he's not a fan of the Dementors anyways, and especially having them at Hogwarts. She's like, he ran to the pitch as you fell, waved his wand, and you sort of slowed down before you got to the ground. Then he whirled his wand at the Dementors, shot silver stuff at them, and then he left the stadium right away. He was furious. So we know that Dumbledore walked Harry, who was on a stretcher, to the hospital wing. Way to go, Dumbly. So Harry begins to think about what happened and how he heard that woman screaming. And then he asks what happened to his Nimbus. his broom, his lovely broom.
Gosh.
And we learned it was smashed to peaches.
That,
Smashed to pieces because of the whomping willow. So the wind was so strong, it blew away when Harry fell right off of it and right into the tree where it didn't stand a chance. Like with Ron's wand, didn't stand a chance. And it made Harry sick to his stomach. And so Hermione lets him know that Flitwick was able to at least find some of the pieces and bring the broom back. And he gives he gives it to Harry. She gives it to Harry, and it's splintered in about a dozen pieces of wood and twigs. So poor Harry, his day went from bad to worse.
Jinx, you owe me a Coke.
wow.
Poor Harry.
Yeah.
Pour one out for the Nimbus 2000.
Yeah, there you
It was a
go.
good
Actually
ride.
Dead.
You're welcome.
Goodness.
Oh, it's just sad. Like, I mean, really, Harry loves Quidditch, and I think it's the next chapter. It says like he knows it was
Yeah.
stupid, but he feels like he lost a best friend.
Yeah.
That's his trusty broom. That's probably like the first thing he's like, oh, I'm really good at Quidditch. I'm good at something in the wizarding world.
If you think about it,
So
the
sad.
Nimbus was like, first of all, his first real gift from anybody.
Yeah.
And second, his first like big item that was his.
Yeah, you're right.
Purely his. It wasn't a hand-me-down. It wasn't something that was strictly school related. It was more so for a hobby. So it was like his first like splurge item for him, you know?
Yeah.
You know how you get like attached to you guys get attached to your cars, like old cars that you had back at like your first car or
Yeah, I like
Yeah, I
that.
did have a little bit of.
What's a car?
oh gosh.
I only travel by broom.
Okay, my
I
bad. Well,
travel by vacuum.
I bet you did.
I prefer the mop.
The Wonder Mop.
It just kind of seemed like that would be his, feeling
Yeah.
towards it. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know. Like my Dodge Shadow. I miss it. I wish I wouldn't have sold it.
Good old
You know.
92 Buick
If
Century.
I'm honest, I miss my brother's car because it was supposed to be mine, but it was so like old and beat up. Not beat up, but like it died in Toledo, so like I never got it. But it was such a nice car.
I had
It
a
was like big and had one of the like the
Oh,
gear shift was
yeah.
one of those. I loved it.
I had
So
a
did my
Kia
first car.
Rio.
Wow.
Yeah, yours did have it. We called it the boat because when you're on the highway, it like felt like it
like,
was on
floated.
the water.
I got a question.
Yes.
Would you have gone to that match
Yes.
in the rain?
No.
No.
I would not have.
Absolutely.
No.
I wouldn't have.
I can't tell you how much I hate thunderstorms. They freak me out.
I think
so
about-
no, thank you.
I think about like, if. So I think back to like when I was in high school, I didn't care about sports. Plus, I went to an all girls high school, so like we didn't have a football team. We didn't. We didn't have those like big game matches because unfortunately, even though it is BS, girls teams aren't as popular as boys.
there were tons of games. We just didn't go to them.
I know,
We also
but
could have
like
gone to like. I went to Ed's Ignatius games all the time.
we did have those to go to, yes. But like if I think about that, like I didn't go to any of those. But if I look at how I enjoy sports now, like if the Slytherin Quidditch team was my Golden State Warriors, absolutely I would go to that game in the rain. But if I more so felt towards the Slytherin Quidditch team how I felt about like my own high school teams, then I wouldn't have gone. You know what I mean? It just depends on how much I would have liked or been into the games.
Can I just say, like, you guys, I know you love JK so much, and she's great. She's awesome.
Uh-oh.
No, I'm serious. Like her.
You sound like you're going to say something
No, I'm
bad.
not. I'm actually.
You sound like a butt is coming.
Yeah.
Right
no,
here.
I actually shouldn't have. Maybe I shouldn't have started that way. Anyways, Quidditch is co-ed. You've
I love it.
you've got girls and boys playing, and really in
I
our
call
world,
them ladies and gentlemen.
ladies and gentlemen, fine, fair. We don't really have that though. You're right. Actually, we don't really have sport with debate teams and things like that.
Yeah, what
but
sport team is co-ed?
that you can truly play.
You're
I mean,
right.
You know what I mean? So she did something that's really like
Quidditch in real time life.
Quidditch in real time life
Yeah.
is co-ed.
Yeah.
Well,
So-
and they do like not
Why
not
can't the
official
NBA
stuff.
be co-ed? Why can't the
But, like-
NFL be co-ed? It makes me mad. I don't want to get on this rant.
But maybe like people play like
I
Sorry.
mean, honestly,
unofficial because like Quidditch is like not unofficial, but like you can play volleyball on teams together, but not like
definitely,
professionally, I guess.
definitely.
Yeah,
No,
that's a
but
good
what
one.
I'm saying, like, if you think about, so there are professional Quidditch players, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you've got the Quidditch World Cup. All of those players are purely based purely judged on how good they are for the team, and I'm sure that they are paid accordingly, just like our athletes are paid accordingly. But let's take a look at the NBA, and you want to compare the NBA to the WNBA. And I'm just doing this because I'm a basketball fan. You could take any sport that has a men's division and a women's division. Are they paid equally?
Do you want to talk about soccer? Because the women's soccer team, like 2 years ago, won, and they were paid significantly less than the men's soccer team. And they came in
That
like
is
60th.
That's a good example.
So they were significantly better than the guys' team and get paid significantly less.
And those girls spoke up for it, and I am glad that they did.
Shout
but
out.
the thing that just makes me so mad is that you look at this, and this is a way I think in the books that she's very progressive. There are ways where there's not necessarily progressive things going on, obviously, with Voldemort and all that.
Well,
stuff.
but also this was written 20 years ago, so.
So this is really progressive. I
Yeah.
mean, like, plus the fact that there's women ministers of magic, like, way back in the day, like, many, many years from even when this series is taking place. But, you know, you look at that, like, nobody watches the WNBA. And how do you know that some of those girls aren't good enough to play on an NBA team?
I've gone to a WNBA play, like the Final
Like a
Four or
game?
whatever. Uh-huh.
That's fun.
Yeah.
That's cool.
I went in high school.
But it's not advertised
But
like
also,
NBA.
I don't do basketball, you know what I mean?
It's not advertised like the NBA. And it's like, why can the teams not just be co-ed like Quidditch? I mean, if they're good enough to play on the team, let them play on the team. And Quidditch does that, and I love it.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's great.
I agree.
Makes me mad.
Yep, I agree.
Other questions?
Let me think of what I want to
Because
ask.
I'm just saying.
Oh,
Who would you
a
want to
guy
sleep
on the
next to in
NBA
the
gets paid
the
millions and millions and
Great
millions
Hall?
of dollars.
I was going to say that I wouldn't go to the game also. One, I wouldn't want to get wet, and two, I'd want the common room all to myself.
Whoa.
That would be nice.
Think you could sit by a fire with like some mallows and a
You could
hot
get
chocolate?
the good chairs.
Oh, yeah.
in the
Get some
common
good
room.
food in that common room, couldn't we? You know, when
Yeah.
they're
Go
out
right
there.
I
next
had
door,
my
tickle
own
that
party.
pear.
You know what? Is there a tube in like the Hufflepuff, like a
I bet
TV
there
tube where we could
is.
maybe watch the game and have food? You know, from
Probably.
the kitchens, we could just chill out. That'd
Do you
be cool.
think that there's a passageway directly from within the common room to the kitchens in Hufflepuff?
Yeah.
oh
Oh,
gosh,
for
yes. Are you kidding me? Yeah.
You just you play real nice with the house elf, and that's how you get in your year one. You get biffs with the house elf, and they will bring you snacks.
Yep. Yep.
I like it.
It's great.
They
So-
leave little chocolates on your pillow when they
Chocolates.
turn your sheets down.
So you said who would you want to sleep next to in the Great Hall? Are we talking like
Let's
from
say
this
let's
time?
say yes. Let's talk about characters and not real people. I mean, they are real people to us. It's real to us.
So characters. So if I got like a little, you know, like a crush.
Do you want to have a menage a trois with some characters?
I probably would want to sleep next to Ron.
I kind of agree. Who else would I want to sit next to?
I
Fred
think
and
I-
George.
Yes,
That
you
would
know
be
what they would
fun.
be. Yeah,
That'd be fun.
That would
Yeah.
be fun.
I would let them sleep
Oliver
next to
would.
me.
But he's kind of annoying even though he's hot. You know what I mean? Like, he's one of those guys
Oh,
where it's like,
he'd be like talking Quidditch, and I'd be like, "Can you not?"
I'd be like, shut up. Just let me stare at you. Okay, thanks.
Oh, but I guess I'm a Ravenclaw, so it'd be weird if I was sleeping next to Fred and George.
Who cares?
No,
Enter house
that's,
They might be
mingling
into it.
that's
this
why you're
evening.
in the big, you know, in the
Great
room
Hall.
there, so you can kind of
Oh, the Great Hall.
wherever you want. I don't know. Who are some cool? I don't know. I'm trying to think.
Oh wait, I'd sleep next to Cedric.
Cedric, your boyfriend.
Honestly, I think I'd sleep next to Cedric. So I mean, seriously,
Do you think that people were like clamoring to sleep next to him?
chatting
I
it
don't know,
up.
maybe.
Well, also you got to imagine too. Okay, let's take this back a notch here, right?
Well,
Fine.
you guys are also Hufflepuffs.
Yeah, and if you, like, there's the chance to kind of. So when you're in your common room, you know, like in Gryffindor Tower, does each year kind of sleep in their own like the level of that, or are they mixed like by year, or we don't really know, right?
Are you
How-
talking
how
about how they are in the dorms?
Yeah, how they're in the
I think
dorms.
each year has their own room.
Okay.
So, like, on
At
the
least-
boys' side of the Gryffindor common room, there's 7 rooms.
But that's at least what we know from the Gryffindor one. We don't know.
Right.
Yeah, and
Because
the
they don't
other-
really tell us too much about the other common rooms, like how their actual rooms are.
I would assume
I would assume.
that they do that for communal purposes because they want you to be close to the people in your year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would assume they do it for all of them.
Yeah.
Because I'm imagining when you get into like the Great Hall, I want to go, whether like Cedric, if he's older, yeah, we want to go sit next to Cedric and, listen to him talk about, the match or whatever is coming up and things like that. I don't know. It'd be kind of neat. So, I don't know. Yeah.
I think it's
I have a
other
question.
questions. Okay.
If you were in Cedric's position, would you have requested a rematch on that game?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I got the snitch and I know
feel
that.
bad. Like,
I would not.
Well, you're Slytherin.
I'd be like, I caught it fair and square. It's over. I won.
Which, really, I think he did catch it.
I mean, he did, but I mean, I would feel bad.
I would
And, like,
want the other team to be in the same position that I was in when catching it.
Yeah.
I can understand that too, but at the same time,
It's just
like,
crazy that
over.
like the weather's so bad,
yeah.
and they're willing to let them play. I don't know.
Yeah.
Well,
Does that happen in real sports? I don't think so.
No, that would be rained
No,
out.
that'd be a rain delay, yeah.
For
Or
sure.
just, rained out. Quidditch isn't like that.
What if they had like a dome?
Quidditch reminds me a little bit of like rugby. It's like kind of, when you think about rugby, it can be an intense sport. You know what I mean? So it's like
rough.
I feel like they would play in that.
Yeah. I got a question. Would you...
Nope.
Okay. No, that's sticking because of what I'm going to ask. Would you have stepped in for the fat lady if you were painting? Let's say you were a portrait.
Just imagine me being a student being like, you can't come in.
I would not.
You wouldn't have.
I wouldn't have.
It's too risky, huh? Dangerous.
It's not
be
risky
scared.
or dangerous. It's just that's a lot of responsibilities, and if I could just be the portrait right next to them and go do my own thing all day,
Yeah.
I would much rather do that than
Okay.
stay in one spot and take people's
Yeah,
passwords.
but she leaves.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
how often does
yeah,
she?
but she's
You
got to
know,
be there for them to come back in. She's always
majority
gotta-
of her day should be her being there.
Yeah.
And that's
Yeah,
kinda
but why
boring.
would she need to be?
It's boring.
I probably would. Maybe like trade off, Bro, Cadogan, I'll do it for a day, you do it for a day.
I could do that, but I couldn't do it all the time.
Yeah. All right, I don't know if I have any other questions.
Fan story?
Sure.
Fan story.
Okay.
All right.
Oh, hey. She's from Cleveland.
I know. So this one this week comes from Megan Floors. She says,
Good name, and you spell it correctly.
Oh my gosh.
she says, hey ladies, I am Megan from Cleveland, Ohio.
I'm the only, well, actually, I was going to say I'm the only one that lives there. I don't even live in Cleveland. No one here lives there.
None of us legitimately live in Cleveland.
But I'm
Well,
from
Tiffany
Cleveland.
does.
I
My
was
parents
born
do.
in Cleveland.
I live
Wait,
a 5-minute walk
Actually.
from Cleveland.
true.
I was raised in Cleveland.
I am Megan from Cleveland, Ohio, and I am obsessed with all things Harry
Are you
Potter.
reading my fan story?
Nope.
Wouldn't that be hilarious?
I had no idea. I found your podcast recently, or maybe she didn't. I remember when she sent this, and started listening from the beginning. I know I'm a little late to the party, but I wanted to share my story anyway. I honestly couldn't read until 5th grade, as I stated in the subject line. I had some learning disabilities / mental block when it came to understanding what the words, sentences, and paragraphs were telling me. I was being taken out of my normal classes 3 times a week to take remedial reading classes. It was so bad that my mom had to read my homework assignments and everything to me. We spent hours after school every day doing the simplest assignments because I would read the instructions, then mom would read them to me, and then I'd do the assignment. Often doing the assignment meant that mom was having me read the textbooks out loud, then having to read everything back to me so I could understand. In 5th grade, the teacher assigned Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone to us. Mom and I started reading it together in our usual way and doing my homework assignments. We both loved the story and didn't want to put it down. We got my dad, and to a lesser degree, my brother, into the Harry Potter fandom as well. My interest in the Harry Potter series is what pushed me to understand how to read and overcome whatever mental block I was having. At that point in 2000, I believe only the first 3 books were out. My parents bought them, and I went to the library and took out the books on CD to read along.
That is my favorite thing to do.
I basically just read and reread the available Harry Potter books over and over with and without the CDs. I had every book the day they came out after that and reread all the books leading up to a new book release. I still reread the series once a year, and I bought the MP3 books on tape to listen to whenever the mood strikes. Now I am 28 and still just as obsessed with Harry Potter and reading in general. I read pretty much everything I can now. I truly believe that without the Harry Potter books, I would not have been able to succeed in school because of my reading issues. Please feel free to share my story with your listeners if you so wish. I enjoy your podcast a lot. You ladies are very knowledgeable about the Harry Potter world and are presenting facts and opinions in a very non-judgmental way. Thanks, ladies. I'm very excited to keep listening through the podcast. Thank you for
Thanks,
sharing your
Megan.
story. It's brave to share.
Yeah, I just want to say that I think that this is one of the biggest things. This is an awesome example of what reading and what a story like Harry Potter can do for somebody. So, like, I know you are not the only person that had trouble reading. There are many people that have trouble with reading. Sarah can't read. No,
legitimately, I couldn't read
but-
till I was like in second grade.
But yeah, I mean, people have trouble with it. And you just have to find that one story that sparks your interest to get you to become... You have to want that spark in you to be like, I don't want to wait for my mom to read this book to me. I want to keep going. I want to understand it. So you just keep pushing and pushing and doing it. Some people, that's Harry Potter. Some people, it's Lord of the Rings. Some people, it was the Hunger Games. I mean, like, all of these series do that for people, and it's amazing.
Well, and that's what I see too. Like, I know people give Twilight a lot of like
Flack.
Yeah, flack. It's a good word. And I say this where like, is it the best written story? No. And people would even say that Harry Potter's not the best written
It is.
story.
They're wrong.
But like, if it gets you into reading and it gets you learning more things and being able, like, oh my gosh, I read this book and now I want to read all these other ones. To me, like, that's fantastic.
Yes.
Like you're saying, like, it's great that you're gonna start to read because really, like, it's a good adventure.
Like, I love, and I think that this would be true with anybody that had reading issues. Once you get it, once you like understand it, I think that it would turn anybody into a bookworm.
You just want to,
You know what I mean? It's like, oh my God, I finally get it. I just want to keep on reading. And that's just an amazing thing. And reading, some people are getting away from it now. And it's unfortunate because it is something, like, I love listening to the books, I really do. But there's just something about being sucked into that book with nothing and all your focus is on these pages and words. And it's amazing.
I'll say for when I was a kid, before I like, because I struggled with like reading and like comprehension and all of that stuff, and still to this day, it's not my strong suit. I'm very like a science, math kind of person. But I come from a family where like my parents loved to read, my siblings loved to read. So like before I really like got it, I literally was like, I don't understand why anyone would read for pleasure. This is so painful. And once I really like not figured it out, but like started, I was like, oh my God. And I like sucked books down. Like, I'm like, I loved to read. I'm like, give me all of the stuff. I want to read everything. But I mean, it took me a while. And I just remember, like, I did not understand. I'm like, I don't get why people want to read for pleasure. Like, it's not a thing.
Harry Potter turned me into a bookworm. I didn't have trouble learning how to read or like with the comprehension or anything. Like, I was fortunate in that I just got it really quick. But I think because of that, I didn't appreciate books like I should. And I enjoyed reading, and like my mom would read me stories and all that kind of stuff. But as soon as I really sat down and read Harry Potter, after that, I was like a garbage disposal with books. It was like I would just take it all in so fast. I read Harry Potter, and then I jumped to a series of unfortunate events. Then I jumped to Twilight, and then it was the Hunger Games. And it was like, I read the Dear America series when I was little. I read the American Girl books. Like, I just took anything in. I remember my mom worked 5 minutes from a library, and I would go in the summertime. I would go with her to work, and then I would walk to the library, and I literally spent my mom's entire shift at the library sitting in the little seating areas reading all day.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
There's a post going around from like Tumblr, or like somebody made it, and it was like, someone who doesn't read lives one lifetime. Someone who does read lives 1,000 different lives.
Yeah,
lives.
you get to just take in all these different fantasy worlds and stories
It
and
broadens
characters.
your mind.
Yeah, you get to read them over and over again. Real quick, just for anybody who is listening, you know, like when I read this, and Lane and I on an Unexpected Podcast have gotten tons of Bywater Post emails like this, where once I started reading this book, like you said, Megan, like it got me into reading and unlocked everything, and boom, there you go, because you want to know what happens next. Like you said at the end of that last chapter, you know, with it leading into, you know, with Sirius Black, you know, he's in the
like,
castle. And you're
oh
like,
shoot,
I've
got to turn the page.
Yeah, I got to keep going. So just for anyone who is listening, I have people who I work with, teachers, and other people. I've just kind of heard as I've learned more about this. But there are people out there who believe dyslexia is not a real thing, and I just
it
want
is.
anyone who is listening to know that it is a real thing, and it is that that basically learning differences, specific learning disabilities, are real, and that it has nothing to do with your intelligence.
Nope.
I have kids who are dyslexic who they're the smartest kids in the school. I mean, they think in ways that I never would, have imagined actually, and their skills are like in other areas. Their imaginations are insanely crazy, But it's just, I don't know. So if you're listening and you've not heard that, or people have said that your dyslexia is not a real thing, that's not true. It is. It's a real thing. And so once you kind of find something that helps you, like Harry Potter, it's that hook, gets you in there and you're, kind of ready to go. You start to learn the words and you start to really put it all together because, there's something that you're connecting with. So
And you just want more.
yeah.
Yeah.
And more and more.
I like that. I like the acknowledgement.
You just got to say it out loud.
Yep.
So, sorry, that was a Twilight little say it out loud. Sorry. Cedric, you dog.
What? Spider monkey?
My gosh.
Hold on tight, spider monkey.
Oh, gosh.
All right. Shameless plug time.
Can I? Is you sure? Is that okay if I plug my stuff? You all right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Real quickly, I just want to say thanks again for letting me be on this episode. I can't wait to have Tiffany back because
So he doesn't do all this work.
So because all of the the hate, guys. I mean, you saw clearly today.
There was no
Oh, it was
hate.
all
Sarah
love.
just, I mean, it gives me crap.
I
to no
made you a
end.
delicious breakfast this morning. You got a whole Florence rendition.
Hey.
We're
You
about
should
to go
love it
get
all.
some pizza.
Oh, right, you're right. I love
Is that
you
what
guys.
we're doing right now?
Thank
So
goodness.
excited.
Thank goodness. I love you guys. It's awesome, etc. If you would like to, if you like The Hobbit, Lord of the Rings, An Unexpected Podcast, Lane and I are doing a reread through that. If you're into Game of Thrones, Bend to the Knee, Sir Matt and myself are kind of doing a reread through that with the histories and whatnot, and you can find all of that good stuff. Hit me up on Facebook, Instagram, what have yous. I'm out
What
there.
do you on Instagram?
I'm actually womprat_2m. But
I know this. They don't.
I know, but it has nothing to do with the handle doesn't really match. It's a Star Wars reference. So the other
What's
Star
a
Wars.
Star Wars?
What is a Star Wars? Yeah. But anyways, so those
You
are
can
two.
find it on BB8 Radio.
So those are my two little projects that working on. Just little humble projects where we're just plugging away at the books, having a good time.
Wishing they
So-
were as cool as Swish and Flick.
I know.
We're working on it. We're helping them out.
You guys are the best. All right, I'm done.
So Katie and I are also on a Disney podcast called Grown Up Kids, where we're doing a chronological rewatch and sometimes first watch of Disney films, all the way starting with Snow White to current, which the last one that came out would be
No, Incredibles 2.
Incredibles 2. That's right. So it's going to be a very long project, but we're excited.
It's fun. We have a lot of fun.
Yep, we're still stuck in the 50s. It's going to take us a while to get out of there. It's okay. Walt packed a lot into the 50s. But yeah, you can find us at Grown Up Kids on any place that you find Swish and Flick. So iTunes, Google Play, Stitcher, TuneIn, Spotify.
Ohio.
True.
Sometimes Florida. Sometimes England. You never know.
And then you can also find us on Twitter and Instagram at Grown Up Kids Pod. And yep, what
Yep.
else are we doing?
We also have an Etsy shop, which I'm super going to plug today because 6 days from when this episode comes out is the Wizardly World of Kent.
And we hope to see some of you guys there.
Yes, so this
For
is a reminder.
anybody who doesn't know, we are hosting trivia that day. We're going to host a meet and greet, a Q&A. We're going to get to see all of the Swishers that come out, come and hang out with us. Come get some Swish swag that might be giveaways. So come see us.
We got some surprises.
Ezra will also be there with us.
He will
Yes.
with Lane.
Hey, some uppers are going to be out there as well too.
Nice.
Sweet.
Yeah, so they're swinging out, and Lane and Winnie and Sarah will be there. It's going to be great.
But yeah, our other booth is going to be Akio Design. So we design a bunch of
Wizardly World posters.
right, cool posters, things you can hang up in your home.
I have
or
3 of them in my room, just so you guys know. So
You're the best.
In your
We're
room.
also
You only have one hung up.
No, I have on my door
Yeah.
Hufflepuff,
Yeah.
and then I've got Weasley as our king.
Oh, yeah,
Where
yeah.
is it?
That's back behind my dresser.
I've
Is
seen
it?
it there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's back there. Yeah, and
I
then
don't think I ever
have
look at
another one. Which one do I have? I haven't put it up yet though. I got one more. I can't remember which one it was.
I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't remember either,
They're
but-
all really cool though.
We're also
Thank
going to
you.
have some novelty stuff, such as my mom is making scarves.
Oh
so
my
we'll
God,
have her
guys.
scarves for sale, and
Guys.
they are. Most of them will be the proper Ravenclaw colors for all you Ravenclaws out there that hate that silver and blue merch.
But
She's
like-
making bronze
Yeah.
and blue scarves.
She made me a blanket, and it's beautiful, and it's the correct colors.
Yeah.
I know that like this is my mother-in-law we're talking about, but honest to God, the way she makes scarves, they're amazing quality. The yarn
like
is
the,
so soft,
For anybody
and they're
who,
actually warm.
For anybody who knows knitting, she knits the scarves in a round, so they're like double layered, so they're nice and warm.
They're the
Yeah.
perfect length. She made me a
Yeah.
newt one. I love it.
And then we're also going to have some jewelry. We're going to have some Death Eater tattoos. We're going to have some Slytherin lockets, time turners, all kinds of fun stuff. So.
Yeah.
Can
Cool
you tell
stuff.
your mom, because I know he wants a blanket.
Please.
Oh, do
Ooh.
you?
I'll pay for it. I need a blanket or a scarf. I need all
He
of
really
it.
wants both
She'll
of
probably
it.
make you both.
She'll make you both.
Okay.
She's also a Hufflepuff.
She is a
Yeah,
Hufflepuff.
Just give me 10% off.
Okay.
Don't tell anybody. I'm just kidding.
What's the code?
I think it's
Swish and Flick is the best?
great. Yeah. Something like that. People
But
are
yeah.
writing that down right now. They're like, oh, 10%. Aren't you?
Are you guys ready
Yes.
for my project I'm going to plug? So I've
Yes.
decided I'm going to make custom robes. It's going to be a whole business called the Golden Stitch. So message me your ideas and you might get something. It might fit, it might not. You never know. They're custom to what I think you need.
Wow.
It may fit your finger. It may fit your toe.
Yeah. You never know.
It may fit you from head to toe.
Also, follow me on like the gram. O'Malley.
Oh,
O'Malley.
Mally.
I'm also
You
on
guys
Twitter.
all know where to find me. Meg's Mouse Tales.
And I am Skaterade 7.
Those are great, guys. Those just crack me up hearing those.
I didn't know what to like call myself because I don't like when there's numbers and like not judging people that have them. I, for my own personal life, don't like handles that have numbers in them. And like Sarah O'Malley was taken, or like S O'Malley, or like whatever.
Yeah, I just wanted Skaterade, but someone had it, so I was like, all right, 7.
Yeah.
I'll take it.
So
Somebody actually, Instagram has this new feature where you can post Ask Us a Question. We got
It was so fun.
many questions. It was amazing.
Someone asked me to marry them.
Oh, really? Mm-hmm. Somebody asked what the story behind my Instagram handle is. I thought that
Oh.
was an interesting Meg's Mouse
Well,
Tales.
Meg is her name.
Meg is my name.
Mouse
Mouse
is for
Mickey.
and Tails because she likes to talk tall tales.
It used to be Disney Cat Pin Lady.
It was Disney
What?
Cat Pin Lady.
Sometimes I still go to type that in if I tag you, and I'm like, wait,
Sometimes
that's
I
old.
still want to say like, "Hey, it's Percy."
Oh, yeah.
Oh my god.
Did you know that it was her nickname for the longest time?
No.
Way
Yeah.
deep
Percy.
into college, like I called her. It was Megan and
Deep.
Percy.
Deep.
And she called me Rard for a really long time. It's a
Wow,
long
dude.
Fun
story.
facts.
I'm gonna write all this down.
And then like still like my sister's best friend. She's like, so how are Megan and Percy? I'm like, she's been going by Katie, is her name, for like 5 years, maybe longer than that,
I'll answer it almost anything.
like 7. Ding.
All right.
All right, time to throw in our little Tiffany quote here.
Thank you so much for listening, and don't let the muggles get you down.
Down.
Always.
Amazing. Just my voice. Don't let the muggles get you down.
Can Florence say it too? Don't let the muggles get you down. That was
Don't let the muggles get you down. This concludes this week's episode. And I'm not thanking you very much because you didn't do any work.
That's horrible.
Jamie. Cut that.
Heck no.